Hola, 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 mi gente. Happy Monday. Welcome to Monday night's episode of On the Block with Jen. I am your favorite devil's advocate. You can reach me on all social media platforms on the block with Jen. Yes, that means TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. On the block with Jen at Gmail if you want to hit me up for some business. On the block with Jen Cash App if you want to help mama keep the street lights on the block. It is scrolling on the bottom. By Mama Smoothie, just for shits and giggles. Welcome, everybody. Hold us down, chat. Lily's having some technical difficulties. She will be right back. Haran, how are you this evening? Brooding already? We didn't even get started.
I'm brooding. I
We didn't
have
even get
resting
started.
face. I have resting brood face. Is that it?
Yes. I'm like, we didn't even get started, honey.
I'm good. Monday. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen,
Monday.
music producer and musician Haran DeMarco. You can catch me here on YouTube as Haran.DeMarco. Thanks to all those who checked out my early jam session with my guitar and my trusty amp. Left a few comments, made a few shout outs, blah, blah, blah. You can catch me also as Dangerous DeMarco on IG, and you can look me up on Spotify and Apple Music as Haran DeMarco.
Hello, everyone. I am Saint. I am NoSaint. I am Saint NoSaint on Instagram, Saint NoSaint on YouTube, just NoSaint on TikTok. And I am fired up. I'm about to come out of one hibernation and go into another hibernation. Football season is right around the corner.
Oh, yay.
I'm about to. If Jen was, if in the other world, the bizarre world, Jen was my woman. This would be the type. This would be the type of year. This would be the time of year that she would hate life.
Oh my goodness. You think I'd allow that shit in my home? That's what's funny. It's actually funny.
And you would serve me chips and drinks.
Yeah, well, he did say bizarro world,
Yes.
right? He did say
Jesus.
bizarro world.
Jesus.
Listen, stranger things have happened. So welcome everybody. Before we get started, it is Monday. Happy Monday. We made it. Just like I say on Friday, we made it. We made it to Monday. A lot of people did not, right? So we have to have a good time for them, right? So, all right, guys. Here we are. And also, thank you for the cash apps that I get when I'm not on air. I truly, madly, deeply appreciate you guys for supporting the show when you catch the replay. Muchas gracias. And yes, I do buy smoothies. Okay, it is Monday. We are here. Lily should be on her way back. Gentlemen, any fluff for the room? Any fluff for the block? Anything you want to share?
I didn't find anything I wanted to share of interest. What about you, Saint?
I was searching. I didn't have a lot of time today to really look around. A pretty busy day for me today, so I don't really have anything.
Mm-hmm.
Can't say I have anything, no.
Okay.
I saw a very interesting video, though. It's not necessarily fluff worthy, but it was still an interesting video nonetheless. LL was on stage. They said he was calling out Jay-Z for not being willing to get on stage and perform, being too good for the stage. And the funny within that was that he seemed to be in some sort of, I don't know, negligee or see-through.
Who was?
LL. He was in this like see-through silk shit. You know, it just didn't. It just didn't seem like he bought it in the men's store.
Was he calling him out while wearing that, like on an Instagram video or something?
Yes. No, he was on stage while calling this man out. He was performing while calling this man out, and he said some sort of silky see-through shirt type shit, some shit I've never seen before. I don't know, maybe it's a rich thing. These guys fart through silk, so it looked kind of weird to be so aggressive and to have such a soft garment on. It was just a very contrasting appearance. But yeah, I just thought that was funny.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Is it because it's LL that you think the wardrobe was weird?
No, it wasn't because it was LL. I guess it was just the manner in which he was acting, the setting. It just was like I just didn't. It just if I was hearing it on audio and imagining
Mhm.
it and saw it, the thing in my mind wouldn't have been like, I wonder if he's wearing a see-through shirt with like some silk shit on it. You know what I mean? Like it just didn't look really. It looked weird. But he was being L. I just chalked it up to him being L. I mean, and him having
Are
fun
you
with it.
being
The
are you
man's millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. So it was like, gives a fuck.
were you being a little homophobic? Just a little bit.
Possibly.
Okay.
I own my shit.
At least you own it.
I own my
We
shit.
we took the long way, but we're here. Hi, everybody.
I've
I like
never in my life denied anything to you.
that this is true. But it's interesting how it's almost like a reflex. We say certain things and we don't even realize what it is we're doing, but
Mhm.
it goes back to that thing I said. You have to be careful what you say. You know what I mean? Even though it comes natural to us, like to make fun of it, but I'm like, Prince wore that, and we accept it from Prince, and we, LL wears something. It's like, hey, you know what I mean? So we have to be
Is it because he's a
careful.
rapper?
Who?
Is it because he's a rapper? I think rappers get different standards.
I don't know. I mean,
Well,
on
then
one
there's
side,
Lil Uzi Vert.
yeah, and this other side of it is
I mean,
like,
Little Nas X. I'm sorry, Little.
No, you're right.
Prince.
You were right. Lil Uzi Vert is non-binary. He came out as
Okay,
non-binary.
okay. Hmm.
Prince wrote, I mean, wore that shit, but that motherfucker's light skin as hell, and he showed it again. So
Oh, so the light skin work. Okay.
he's New York.
So
And I
now you're
wonder,
tolerant.
and I wonder if
LL
it's
free.
Oh my God, he's built.
and I wonder if it's the aesthetics, because a lot of these rappers are gay. I mean, they are gay.
Hmm.
A lot of the guys you
Absolutely.
jamming to, a lot of the dudes you think are hardcore and spitting about drugs, and they're gay. So I don't know if I mean, I don't know if it's the
They're
aesthetics of it, because a
hardcore
lot of
in
them
other
are
areas.
gay,
No, they're
huh?
hardcore in other areas. They're hardcore in other
Yeah,
areas.
yeah, they're gay. Yeah,
Yeah. You could be gay and
interesting.
hardcore.
Yeah. Interesting. All right,
Yeah.
let's take Haran off the hot seat now. No Saint would say you.
No, I think it's interesting when you hear like Haran talk about something and it bothers him. And then there are things that bother us that I guess you can go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist about try to figure out why. Like I'll just be out there. I'm really easygoing, right? And
Mm-hmm.
this isn't something that bothers me to that like like I hate this,
Mm-hmm.
but in the gay community, the ones that get on my nerves are the ones that dress up like look like guys, the girls that look like guys. Like they call butch.
Oh, the studs.
Yeah, it's not the males. I'm cool with the males.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm cool with everything else about the in the gay community. It's just that somehow rubs me the wrong way. I don't know why. I don't know if
Why
it's
is
like
why is that?
I hear that a lot.
maybe they're trying. Maybe it's like, well, you're not. Why are you trying to be? Maybe it's one of those things. Why are you trying to be me? You can't be me. You know what I mean? Or maybe it's like, I don't know. I don't know.
So then I mean it's there. You just don't. You
No,
haven't
no, no.
brought it
I
out
don't. I
yet.
don't know why. I try to sit there and wonder why. I just maybe it's that I have no, but I don't have my. When I say I don't know, I mean I don't know if that's the real reason or it's something else. You know what I mean?
So
Because
is
there's
that
no
like
reason. There's no reason for me to. I don't hate go. I don't hate them. I want to
right?
put that out there. I wouldn't like get in a fight or anything like that. But it's just like when I hear some guy that is homophobic that can't stand seeing a guy hold another guy's hand, and it's repulsed. It's not quite to that. I'm not repulsed, but it's just like that was something from a long time ago that I just realized like it got under my skin, and I can't tell you why.
So is that like when women, you think, is that the same like when women don't like seeing trans women? Like, oh, you're trying to be me?
I don't know. I don't know because it's like, for instance,
I
it's
like
not
how
like
white
when I
people always
see.
have the privilege of saying, "I plead the fifth," and they could just get away with that.
No.
They,
For instance, I don't have a problem
Well,
with.
I'm still questioning him. I
No,
don't know.
no, no. Yeah,
Getting
yeah,
away with what?
yeah,
What
yeah.
is he getting
Right.
away
He's
with?
been on the hot
in his
seat for the last
mind,
5 minutes.
No, I'm just saying, in his mind,
Look
he
at the
believes
I'm looking at the
like, I
Crown
don't know.
Prince. That's another
Uh,
thing. Yeah, the Crown Prince. Maybe that's it too. Like they almost seem like they want to fight. Another guy. You know what I mean?
That's what a lot of men say. A lot of men say that. I can't I can't confirm or deny. I don't know. But a lot of men say that they're really aggressive and it's like they kind of go out of their way to prove their masculinity.
Yeah.
I don't know because I like they treat me good. I don't know if it's because they want to fuck me or anything, but um I get treated pretty good.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think, I mean, but I think there's extremes on both sides,
oh
right?
god,
Because
yeah.
sometimes I see trans women, I'm like, we don't act like that. Like women are relaxed. They're just in their essence, right?
Feminine,
We're just
not
feminine. We're not
flamboyant.
right. So it's like there's extremes on both sides. And I guess both can be annoying if you're annoyed by things like that. I'm more annoyed by fucking bad energy and bad fucking attitudes. That shit grinds my gears. I'm talking about even if I'm related to the person. Like if I'm home,
Hmm.
I'm a very high spirited individual. You come in with an attitude, you will. I'm telling you, that grinds. You want to see me like really? That grinds my gears because I don't like people who. I understand you have bad days or whatever, but to come and share that with other people, that grinds my gears.
Right.
You wanna work my nerves,
I,
do that shit.
Because
I
I
mean, I
like to tuck.
feel
I like to duck off. I like to duck off when I'm in a mood and I need to calm down. Let me duck off because I don't want to take it all on anyone. Because I always tell myself, they didn't do nothing to you. These people didn't do anything to you. Keep them out of it. Go into
Yeah.
your corner. Go into your room. Go into your home and figure it
Mhm,
out. You know.
mhm.
I don't know.
I
I
just
mean, black
wanna
studs are notoriously known for, in my experience, black studs are notoriously known for doing too much, or just
mm.
being, or presenting some caricature of masculinity. Like,
I think
it's not
all
that.
studs though, because look at, Young M.A. She's ridiculous.
Yes,
I'm sorry, she's ridiculous. Like, she even I mean, even her rap, she's talking about suck her strap on, and she's a lot. She's a lot.
I
But
mean, they're
who
tough
am I
until
to
it's
say?
time.
I say suck my dick all the time.
They tough until it's time to start moving some furniture. And all of a sudden, they call their brother or some shit like that.
Mm.
They know where they stand until it's time to really start doing some real physical shit. Do you remember
That
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 video?
that
you
that
know.
was real. That was real homophobic.
I'm going to tell you a video. I'm going to tell you a video. I'm going to tell you a video. This is truth. This is out there. And I was telling Lily this. There's a video out there of I think it was some sort of storm. Chat, maybe one of you remembers this. There was some sort of storm going on, some sort of flash flood, and it was heavy. And a stud was with her girlfriend. And I
Uh,
guess the stud wanted to perform a very masculine act by putting the woman on her back or holding her through the water or some shit like that. So a very masculine, strong physical act.
this is
And they
getting more
both
and more homophobic by the minute. This is just getting worse and worse.
He's just
and
digging at hole.
and and
This is just
and
getting.
the storm ended up washing both of them. Okay, it engulfed both of them. They all both almost drowned, and it was only a guy who was like my size, maybe a little bit bigger, who was taller. He came and he grabbed both of them up and managed to walk them both to the end of this raging fucking storm. So again, in that particular situation, she should have just said, "Hey, I can think I'm something, but
So you know what? I will say this. My manager is a stud, and my manager actually kind of feels this way, what you're saying.
mhm,
And about her own peers, she's like, she's kind of like how I am. She always says, listen, I'm not confused. I was born a woman. I am a woman. Biologically, I'm a woman. And so there's a line and there's a limit to these things, right? Like I know what lane I'm in and I'm okay with my lane. So there may be something to it because this is a stud saying it too. So I mean, but I'm gonna tell you what my prejudice is, since we're exposing prejudices, and
Ah,
this is not that I don't like someone. This is not a hate. This is nothing. This is just a simple like I just don't understand aesthetically. My brain cannot compute it, and that's okay because people's brains can't compute my ass. So I'm good with that, right? Um, and Kari kind of touched on it. He said the super feminine gays with the full beards.
oh
But it's
God.
not even just that. It's the muscle queens for me, like the real built muscle queen, like they built, but then they act like me, and I'm like, yo, I'm confused. What are we doing? Like, how's this going to move? Like, I'm just my brain. You're fucking with my brain because the right
Mm,
side is saying one thing, but the left side is saying another thing, and they're not connecting. What's going on?
right, right.
So yeah, aesthetically, my brain can't process it.
Yeah, that I understand. Like it, I mean, I think that's what it is. Like, and half the time it's just shit that we were told and led to believe. Like the L Cool
Right.
J in the shirt is like, it's. I mean, it, you were told that was wrong, and you were told that looked weird, and that type of thing. But I do want to say, in defense of the studs, anyone know who Shad Gaspard is?
Mm-mm.
He was an American wrestler, 6'6",
Mm.
285 pounds.
Shad,
Mm.
yeah, Shad, yeah."
And what happened to him?
I don't know.
I know he
Share.
passed recently, but I don't know what the whole story was.
Oh
I
well,
didn't keep it.
he was in the water playing around, and he got taken away by a wave.
Oh,
Wow. Shit.
undertow.
So, in defense of the studs that got
Riptide.
washed
Yeah.
away, Here's a man, 6'6", 285 pounds, professional American wrestler, and he got taken away by a wave.
Yeah, I'm sure
How
that was
big
a
was the damn
riptide.
wave?
A
How
lot
big
of
was the
people
damn
get.
wave, Coach? Is this
No, it
some
was a
What happened?
Aquaman?
riptide.
Is this some shit that Aquaman had to like
No,
back? Like, how big
no,
was
they're
the
they're getting hit with those riptides, and people don't know what they're supposed to do, and they swim themselves out and drown because it's taking them out to sea.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to actually swim with parallel to the shore to get
Parallel.
out of it,
Mm-hmm.
and they try to swim against it, and they just
Against
tire
it.
themselves out, and you're not going to win
Oh, okay.
against that. But I want to say, I think, to me, when we're talking about the prejudices, and Lily was talking about hers, and when I look at when we're talking about the studs, it just clicked in my brain. It's the
Okay,
same.
let's have it.
It's the same for me when I see someone like a white guy really overcompensating to try to be in like he's in the streets. It's like, you're not that guy.
That was a nice save. No saying, he said not like he's black, like he's in the
I caught
streets.
that. I
Go
caught that.
ahead. Well done, sir.
I was trying to see how he's gonna word that. I was
I,
like, is
I
he
was
gonna
like,
be
I
PC?
just wanted to see what airport he was going to land the plane in. I was
Right.
like, hey.
I was like, what runway we gonna end up on tonight?
Always
Let's see.
interesting to see. No, it always is interesting to see where they landed when they get into these.
You know what I
That
do
was
love?
great.
I'm a
black
very
people be like,
experienced pilot.
That was great. That was
You know
absolutely
what I used to
great.
love when I was in the workforce still, and people really had me
He
PC,
said
and like
gracefully done.
a white person they'll say, I was last night I was with my African American friend. Like they don't know what to. I'm like, bitch, we don't even know what to call us. Just say what you gotta
exactly.
say, because we don't
Like
know where we are this year.
Right. It changes. Uh, I'm on Latin A now. It was Latin X and Latin.
Like
No, I'm
seriously?
sorry. No. I'm sorry. Latin A is old. It's Latin. It went from Latinx to Latin A E at the
We're
end
not
with that
Xing.
thing.
You're
We're
not
not
X
X,
anymore.
No, Lily. We're not X. It's
What?
Latin. It went
Well, no.
from
That far
Latinx
behind?
to Latin A to now it's Latin. Like Tine, like saltine.
Oh,
Like, I'm like
bullshit.
two OSs. I'm like two operating systems
Me,
behind.
me
What the
too. I'm
fuck?
still on
Yeah, y'all about
Latinx.
yeah, like you gotta scroll Instagram. You gotta scroll Instagram. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I'm gonna get
No,
canceled.
we're Latin. No, it's Latin. So I'm like, yeah,
if I said
okay.
Latino, it'd have been over. And on a grand stage, if
Yeah,
I
it's
said
like,
Latino,
but
Oh,
it's funny
you're
because now there's a
1995.
yeah, but there's not now there's like a war um eh, between the people that are just call me Latin and the people that are Latinx and then the people that are Latin. It says here, what are the differences? Latin or Latinx? And then it goes on to Latin is what's commonly used among Spanish speakers as it's more easily pronounced than Latinx. So if you're too lazy to say Latinx, you can say Latin. There.
Okay, and then I know they add on like because you got Miss, Mister, Mrs., Miss, and now you have Minx, Minx, Minx.
And what is
That
that?
that is a gender neutral term for Mister, Mrs., Miss. That's combined. So that's if it's I guess a
Ah,
non-binary person, or if you just don't know, you say, "Hey, Minx Garcia, Minx DeMarco."
wow. Yeah, this ain't the country for me, I'm
No,
afraid.
I don't get it. I just
this
This
my
is not gonna work.
brain, the
This is
way
not
it's
gonna
set
work.
up.
Yeah, this is not gonna work long term. It's not
This
gonna
is a prime example of what Jen just said. If you don't want to say Latinx, you can say Latin. Like there's just way too much accommodation in this fucking society now. Well, if you don't want
like,
to
look,
do
if it
this,
hurts, if it tires you to say Latinx, just say Latin, because that X is exhausting, you see. I'm trying to
well,
make your life easier, Ron.
this is why we have
Oh
this
God.
society. This is why we have everybody has this room where they expect to be accommodated.
Yes.
And there's no space when you have the society that you condition everyone to believe that you'll be accommodated no matter what you do, no matter what kind of fuckery or nonsense you're into. You just have no boundaries. You erase
Yeah.
boundaries. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There has to be.
yeah, at this point, it's insanity and it's going to explode. And that's why people are pushing back. That's why people are pushing back. They're like, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like I was down in the beginning, the first couple years, it was fun, like, ooh, new names. And then it just got out of hand.
And
It got completely out of hand.
it goes beyond the names. It's to the point where every single group, or it started with every single group wanted you to be up to date on their plight, whether
Yes.
it was the queer community, the black community, the Latin community, the dolphins, and got to save the dolphins, the human trafficking, the street signs, whatever. Like all of the communities wanted you to care, not only
Mhm.
care, but be on top of all of the nuances, and I mean
Mhm.
the nuances of their group. Then it went from that, which if that wasn't hard enough, to each individual needed you to know about their trauma and their ingrown toenail. You had to be sensitive to everything, and I grew up and we grew up in a society where we realized that we had to figure out a way to get okay with ourselves because the
Right.
world is cruel. It's cold. It's a cruel world. Like we can't.
Yep.
That's unrealistic. And like you said, now it's gotten to a place where people is like, "Fuck your groups, fuck your dolphins, and your blacks and your queers and your street signs or whatever it is that you care about. I don't care. I'm
It's
just
too
going to take care of
much.
me and my family because yeah, it can't. People don't. It's just too much for people.
If
They're overwhelmed.
if you're gonna create room and accommodate people on every single term, you're removing the incentive for self-improvement. Because people
Yes.
improve, you're improving yourself because you need to move in a particular space. You need to better yourself. You need to, and move forward. If motherfuckers start growing up and saying that, well, motherfuckers should just, accept me for who I am. Fuck it. They're not going to improve themselves. Like one day, fucking crackheads might be like, well, don't call me a crackhead. Call me substance dependent or some stupid shit like that. You know what I mean? It just makes it sound like, no, this is a respectable affliction. It needs to be held and dealt with care. And you're removing yourself from understanding, like, no, this motherfucker's addicted to crack.
A self-medicated patient.
A practitioner, a self-medicated practitioner.
Did you say self-medicate? Self-medicated?
Oh God, I love it. It's so damn ignorant. Oh,
Okay, so I
Lord.
just pulled up because I was hella curious. I just pulled up LL on stage calling out Jay-Z. Haran, stop the
Oh,
cap.
what? What
It was
happened?
just stop the cap. It was just sheer sleeves. It was a big old doofy black long sleeve t-shirt, except the sleeves were mesh.
Blousy, very blousy.
And not
It was
even
very
it's not even blousy. I'm gonna show you. It's not even blousy.
He's just being a
blousy.
brute in this moment.
It's very
Yeah,
blousy.
he's just exaggerating.
Very blouse like.
You know,
When the wind comes,
Aran, you're
that
first of
5-year
all,
motion.
toxic masculinity.
I'm just making an observation.
Narcissist, toxic masculinity, homophobe, Latin phobe, blouse phobe, rappers and blouses phobe. All of those, you get
Rappers and
titles these days.
blouses, phobe.
Blouse
So
phobe.
anyway, but the nitty gritty. Listen, the meat and taters of that story, and I'll put up L's picture in a minute. The meat and taters is so he called out Jay-Z because Jay-Z did not attend the 50th, I guess, anniversary of hip hop. What do you feel about that? Maybe Jay was busy. Maybe he had a date
He had
with
to watch the
Warren
kids.
Buffett. What do you
He had to
think?
watch the
Should he have been
kids.
there?
Jay's out of here. Jay's out of here. That's what I think. I think Jay's out of here. It's kind of hard to get $1 billion in the booth, man. It's kind of hard to get $1 billion on stage. You know
It
what I'm
really
saying?
is.
Let's just call it what it is, man. Jay's like, he's like, you want me on stage? We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Yo, fuck that dude.
The voice.
Get this big clip motherfucker off the stage. You know what I'm saying? He's not doing that shit, man. You know what I mean? He's not doing that shit.
Trolling on the
it's-
blog says Jay's on
Fuck
tour
that
with
shit.
his wife, y'all. He's been at every show. I don't think he's been at every show.
No,
He's been at every show. I don't think he hasn't been at every show. That'd be kind of weird, actually. Because I'm like, I know you got shit to do. It can't be.
Jay's out of here, man.
Facts.
Y'all remember that video? Y'all remember that video when Rockefeller was behind him, laughing like a bunch of idiots, and you saw that look on Jay?
I mean, it's classic. It's classic. That video is classic when he was just like, and you could tell he made up his mind right there. Classic.
He saw the future right then in that moment. Be like, I'm getting out of here.
Jay's always saw the future.
Yeah,
he's always been a pioneer. Always.
So here's the picture that clenched Haran's butt cheeks.
I got the clenched.
This is the picture.
Yeah, see, even NoSaint is laughing. Even NoSaint is like, yeah, that's a.
Come on.
Pick that up in your nearest truck and stop.
First of all, I don't know any women that would wear that shit. First of all.
Yeah, I wouldn't wear it. It's actually, to be honest with you, my issue is just that it doesn't look good. It doesn't look flattering. Maybe that's just
right.
A bad picture.
It doesn't.
That's
right. It doesn't fit well. It looks like some grandma or something. Just that if it would have been a little more tailored at the bottom at the waist, it would have looked dope.
Right. Oh,
Usually
you
doesn't
know
look
what?
bad in the sleeve.
If the sleeve actually, honestly, this might sound bad, but trust me on this. I'm a fashion person. If the sleeves were actually more fit, it would showcase his muscles more, and it'll look more masculine or more
But if
fitted or
he
more better.
But I like the sleeves as is. I don't like the waist part. I think if the sleeves were fitted, now we're veering into I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt.
I thought
Y'all,
that's what he was
y'all,
going for,
y'all
actually.
see the look on Kyrie
Okay.
face? The face? Kai,
I
No,
like
I
saw
that.
saw, I saw,
Kari.
I looked
I
That's
at
saw
it.
okay as
Corey's,
hell, man.
yeah, I saw Corey's response in the chat when he said it
Sorry,
looked a
like
little
that. That's okay
blousy.
as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that did look a little blousy.
Listen,
At first I was on Jen's side, like, hey, this might be a little homophobic. But now after seeing the picture, I kind of agree with Heron. That shirt do look a little blousy.
nah, he needs to figure out if he's gonna go on stage and rap or is he going in the woods trying to protect himself from mosquitoes. I can't figure out what
Oh,
that's
And,
all
it could be
about.
mosquito net.
and
Exactly. It could be a dual meaning. It could have like a double entendre. So you're right, no Saint. Thank you for taking up for LL on
with
this good
that,
Monday.
I know he got on diamond chains, but with that outfit, it kind of looks like pearls.
I do
it
like
does.
pearls.
That's the point
It
I was
does like
making.
pearls. Because
He
that's
came
why I
on
had
there
to look
and he's
close.
That's
yeah,
because it's
and he came
blurred.
on
No,
there.
that's because the picture is blurred. Because the picture is
Yeah,
blurred. That's
I
why.
yeah,
know,
because
I
the
know.
picture's blurred and the outfit, it does give it like pearls will go good with that. So that's why I had to.
He
That's
came
why I
on
did like
there
this. I was like, "Is that pearls?" I was like, "Okay," but then when I saw it
and
wasn't, I was like, "All right, we're
So
back to just
yeah.
I understand that Jay is Jay. I mean, we talking about a billionaire now. But still, I mean, he's a billionaire, you know what I mean, via hip hop and that whole thing. I think he should have been there. I think it would have been dope if he was there. Even if he flew in to do it and then flew back out on his private jet to meet his wife, I think he should have been there. That's
I
just my
mean,
person.
listen,
I
this,
think he should have been there.
but I mean, because I was mulling this over, right? Yes,
Mhm.
Jay is out of the stratosphere when it comes to hip hop. Jay is no longer in deep in hip hop. His ear is into the street and all of that
Yeah.
stuff, right? He's in that top 1% now. At the same time, the reason why he's in the top 1% is because of hip hop, right? And so he was a hip hop artist, then he became president of the hip hop label. Then he went on to do Title and all those other things, Rock Nation, which is
The
also very
NFL,
hip
the NFL.
NFL and bringing the hip hop to NFL. So Jay is very hip hop for the last 20 plus years, 25 years.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it would have been nice. It would have been nice. I mean, I understand how because Jay's ego is out the stratosphere before he went out the stratosphere. So I can imagine where it's at now. Um, so I'm pretty sure he was kind of like, yeah, I get there if I can, and he just couldn't. Something else came up.
Thank you, the ruler's back. Thank you. Thank you. You know why? Because black men will call out somebody black before they call out somebody white. Where the fuck was Eminem? Ain't nobody say nothing about him.
That's another person that's supposed to have been there. See,
Mr. He in the top 5. Well, if he in the top 5, why ain't nobody call him out?
Who said he
Don't
was
get me
in the top
started.
five?
Don't get me started.
Who said he was in the top
Black
five?
black men. Black
Oh,
men said that.
well, I didn't say that.
Okay.
okay, so they said,
Black
but
men
hold
said
on.
that.
So this is the second
He
time
ain't
I've
in the top
seen
five.
this is the second time I've seen this comment, so it may be some truth to it. The second person that said that Jay was at the Brooklyn Library for his book
No, for the
release
Book of Hove exhibit. It wasn't a book release.
exhibit.
They actually did an exhibit where they actually plastered the whole Brooklyn Library with his lyrics on it. They had these
Yeah, but
crazy
that been
exhibits
wait a
inside.
minute. That been out.
No, they did that for the Hip Hop 50. They did that in the beginning of the summer.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like that's been out. Like that's been done. So he was there on the
Yeah,
day of the
he showed up for it.
right. He showed up. I saw that whole thing, but I'm talking about the show that LL Cool J is calling him out on. That didn't happen that night.
No, it didn't. It didn't.
Right. That's what I
I think
mean.
he felt that was his contribution to it. So I would have loved to see Jay-Z perform at Yankee Stadium, but I feel
This
like
is the
he's
point
like,
I'm
yo,
making.
That would have been crazy. That would have been crazy if Jay would have came out. That
yeah,
shit would have been fucking.
especially because he made the Yankee fitted so much more famous than it was already. You know, it would just
Than a
been dope to
Yankee
see him.
can. I was trying to tell Haran that's why he's wearing that cap right now because of Jay-Z. But he don't want to listen to me. He don't want to listen to
Okay,
me. He don't want to listen to
very
me.
interesting. Yeah, I would have
No, but I
loved
would
him
have
to
liked
be
to
there
see
though.
Jay Z perform something.
He should have, in my opinion, went out his way
And,
to be there
I'm
because he
not
can
saying
get
he
hold on.
around. He can get around. He could have hit that
And,
stage and then bounced.
Right.
and not only is he hip hop, he's New York to the core. I just passed by 560 Street just a second ago. Like he is New York. Like so, why
Right.
would you there, Jay? Now the more I think about this, I'm getting feelings.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't go because he might not have been the headliner. Because Run DMC was the headliner. Run DMC kind of like closed out the show.
You know what? We assuming a hell of a lot. Jay is probably
Yeah,
like, I don't give a. I was busy.
He probably had COVID. He probably had COVID. Look, he probably had
Right.
COVID.
He
and we
was
didn't
like, he's probably like, I don't give a damn about no damn headliners. Like, yeah, we putting a lot on it. We putting a lot on it.
Definitely.
we give a whole storyline.
Not in the chop, not enough cheese.
For real. Well, what about this, you guys? This story is funny because
He said COVID. I'm sorry.
COVID had the COVID, like COVID. Okay, so this story is interesting, and of course, all the men in the comments was like, he got her for cheap. She ain't even all that. Blah, blah, blah. You know how it goes, right? People without money claim that money ain't everything, blah, blah, blah. So Michael Jordan's wife, Yvette Prieto, will receive $1 million for every year of marriage and $5 million per year if she stays more than 10 years. Now, of course, all the men in the comments were saying, oh, yeah, she ain't all that. And he got her for cheap. And in comparison to what he's worth, he's only giving her $1 million for. And my thing is, sir, ma'am, you will never make $1 million.
Right.
There really should be like this rule on social media that anytime any nigga who loves to make these kind of comments, we gotta see a picture of your baby moms, B.
Everybody would stop talking.
We gotta see the arsenal that you're working with, man. Because a lot of these dudes talk real crazy, and then you see their roster, and you be like,
Everybody would stop. Everybody would stop talking. Everybody would stop talking.
You know what I mean? It's just like, look, man. That what they said, she getting $1 million a year, and $5 million more if she stays on the.
If she stays, yep. If she stays
So
more than 10 years, $5 million per year.
This is details of their prenup.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the prenup.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, this
every
woman
year.
is going to be a millionaire. This woman's going to be a millionaire.
Yes.
And okay, so for him, that's chump change.
What you think about that, Kari?
I wonder why the hell do we know what their prenup is? Who gave us this information? You know?
Sometimes
right, you're right. You're right about that. I'd be wondering, like, if the PR part, like, I don't know, it'd be so weird. But the thing is this: that's chump change to him. He's probably looking at like, listen, I'm a hard person to deal with. So if you want to put up with me, you deserve. This is the least I can do. So
if more men if more men thought like that, it'd be less divorce.
Hey.
Because remember, men say women get rewarded for divorce, right? What happens in divorce? They get nice if the guy's making decent money, they get a nice chunk of change for child support, and they get a nice chunk of change for alimony. So a woman in her head is thinking, why don't I just leave and I can get this money and not have to deal with the man, right? But if the man is saying $1 million a year, I could put up with the Hershey squirts in your drawers, perhaps.
But the best way to combat that situation is to do one thing that a lot of men refuse to do: marry or get involved with a woman in your tax bracket. If you constantly
they're not going to do that.
You know what I mean? If you constantly keep marrying broke women, you're putting yourself in a particular tax bracket where you're always here and she's there. Of course, when you get divorced,
well, no, I disagree with that. Because even if she's in his tax bracket and they divorce, he's still gonna, and she gets custody of the children, he's still gonna pay child support.
He's gonna still pay child support and so on and so forth. But what I'm saying is that if you put yourself in a situation, it's like the Halle Berry situation. The situation that she put herself in, she was here and these dudes were down here. You know what I mean? So yeah, of course, when it comes to divorce time, when it comes to splitting up shit, of course you're gonna get, you know what I mean, the bigger brunt of the situation because you're the one with the money. Now, when people are on more of a, well, I won't even say legal, equal, but a level situation, things tend to get split up a little bit more evenly, or she'll take the kids. But it's not a situation where you're just getting just a fucking knife being stuck in your fucking jugular. You know what I mean? And the chick only came in with a fucking bag and a
Well,
drain.
you gotta
But
you gotta pay for your ego. You gotta pay for
most
your
men want
ego.
that. Hey,
Right?
look,
You gotta
listen.
pay
I'm
for
not saying. I'm
you gotta pay
saying.
for your
This
ego.
is what I'm saying. If you don't want to put yourself in that situation, you got to think. And most dudes don't think.
They
No.
don't,
They
and
just
that's
They just
and
get
I feel
hard.
like yes, that's it. And Raphael says this feels very transactional, and I would like to address that. Um, that is the problem with most marriages is that they're not transactional enough. Right? They go in with the butterflies and the oh, you look great. Oh, everything is perfect. We're going to feel like this forever. Right? Contracts are put in place just in case. Like it's for worst case scenarios. It's to protect you and the other person, you and the other person from worst case scenarios.
Mhm.
So the time, in my opinion, to discuss this shit is before we get married. Like this, let's discuss all the particulars, all the business. Like, okay, hey, lady, I'm rich, you're poor, right?
Mhm.
So if we stay together, what does that look like, right? Like I'm not going to just send you off into the because prior to getting married, that like you said, you got the butterflies, you still like each other and everything like that. It's not time to discuss this when you no longer like each other. It's going to be really nasty. He's going to be trying to keep his money and she's going to be trying to spill his tea and make his life miserable, right? So if we could just get that shit out the way and make the trend, because it is transactional whether you like it or not, because it's transactional during a divorce. So why shouldn't it be transactional for the at the beginning of the marriage?
Let me say really quickly, hit that like for me, you guys. I need like 22 likes because that's how many are missing in comparison to who's watching. I need my likes. Give me my likes. I want my likes. I want my likes. Thank you for the super chat, Fahim Jackson, and supporting this show. Fahim Jackson says, not true about brackets, Haran. Kim Kardashian gets $200,000 monthly and more from Kanye, and she is rich as him. This is true. This
I
is
look
very,
at it
very
as
true.
I
Michael Jordan
immediately
got
said
off light compared to Janet Jackson. Did y'all see
Say
what
I
again?
Janet
immediately said.
Jackson?
One mic, because he's who's talking.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say Michael Jordan's getting off light compared to the whole Janet Jackson prenup. Janet Jackson's joint was like if they stay together 5 years, she gets $100 million.
Oh,
If she has a baby, double that 100 million. They got
oh,
divorced after about 5 years, and she had a baby.
oh.
But she
What,
was also
yeah,
married to some billionaire tycoon oil motherfucker from overseas.
so you don't remember Mariah's inconvenience fee? And she didn't even get married. She had an inconvenience fee. Like if we don't make it to the altar, you've inconvenienced me, and now you owe me. And what was it, 100 million or something like that?
Well, it is an
I had to look it up.
inconvenience.
It was an inconvenience, and they didn't make it to the altar. He paid her inconvenience fee.
Mm.
That's crazy.
Okay, so in terms of what Fahim Jackson is saying, I immediately said afterwards that there's certain stipulations and there's certain, differences. But the point of the matter is this: when you have money, and if the other person has money, and when you actually take the time out to sit down and think about, I don't know, the grounds and how you're going to handle, certain things in terms of the prenuptial agreement and make certain arrangements, such as Michael Jordan did. I'm not saying you'll have that kind of money, but when you think ahead and you are in a particular situation to do that, you don't get ass fucked like so many of you dudes do. A lot of times you guys get ass fucked because you never think about the future. You marry some broke chick. You think she's going to love you forever. And the moment your money runs out, you don't realize that you're on a fucking clock. And and you sit there wondering why is love so transactional? Bro, everything's conditional in life, man. Everything is conditional in life. A lot of men can really save themselves a lot of headaches if they could just sit down and behave as logical as we claim we are half the time and think about what you're
Now,
getting
men, let me
involved
tell you something. Social media has taught me men are more emotional than women. Come at me, bro. I don't give a fuck
Facts.
what y'all say.
Facts.
Because when it comes to divorce, when it comes to divorce, when it comes to men not having money, they're damn near in fucking tears saying, "Oh, I don't have no money. She don't want me. She don't want to ride or die. She's supposed to be down with me. She's supposed to speak life into me." That doesn't sound logical to me. Logical would be what Michael Jordan is doing. You want to fuck $1 million every year. You stay after 5 years, you get more fucking money. Now you're gonna suck my dick, fuck me when I want, and be in my beck and call for these award shows. Let's go, let's go, let's go. That's a logical thinker. A
Very
logical thinker
logical.
isn't, oh, she railroaded me when I was in court, or she taking my money, or the alimony of the child. That sounds emotional to me. It sounds emotional to me. So it always surprised me when men say, that sounds transactional. Everything is transactional. Every fucking thing is transactional. If you get married and that woman doesn't look good for you, doesn't cook for you, doesn't clean for you, doesn't suck your dick, that's a transaction. You are staying with that woman if she does X, Y, and Z. So all of a sudden, when it comes to a woman wants your money or she wants a fucking divorce, then all of a sudden, what is it? That sounds transactional. But you got with that woman because she either looked good, you wanted her to bury your children, you wanted her to raise your children, you wanted her to be a good woman to you. Those are transactions. But when it comes to the court system, then men are like, oh, that sounds transactional. Everything is transactional. These men sound like they're more into rom-coms than women are. They believe in the romantic comedies. Are you supposed to love me no matter what? Right? And love. All right. Love. I've seen love fuck more people over, okay, than fucking taxes. And you hear men say it all the time. You hear men say it all the time. They're just as emotional as women, if not more. From what I've seen on
Yeah.
social media. From what I've seen on social media. Always crying
Yeah.
about it. Not fair, not fair. No, you're supposed to love me. Not fair, not fair. That sounds like emotions to me. Sounds like emotions to me. But you notice the the higher the tax bracket, the more logical men become because they've done so many transactions to reach wealth. Everything to them is a transaction. Everything, right? So when they look
They
at
get it.
women, they're looking at women that way. Like, what do I need to get you and then keep you? And then how much, what can I do to protect my other shit? But I know I got to give you money. I know I got to give you money. This is an expense. She wants the cars. She wants the Birkin bag. She wants to put that on the side. And in my opinion, the higher the tax bracket is, the more logical they are. How much? What do you
Mhm.
want? That's how it
It's that simple.
is.
They get it.
look, listen, man. It's like what I said last night on Saint when Saint and I were speaking. Look, if divorce happens, if I was ever in a situation like that, the first thing that would come to my mind is, okay, how much this shit gonna fucking cost me? Not they're like, oh my god, I love her, and oh my god, she could do this to me. Like, no, I'm not thinking about that shit. I'm thinking like, oh fuck, how much is this gonna fucking cost me? You know what I mean? Because this is the reasons why. This is the reason why I'm not getting married, man. Because it's like I already got the kid, and I love my kid, but her mom's in my pockets.
You know what's
Oh
funny
my!
that everybody, you know what's funny? Everybody, black, white, Latin, or whatever, we love our children. But I notice men always have to prefix it with that because you'd rather not somebody be in your fucking pockets, even if it's the kid you love. I don't know why we're so afraid to admit that shit. And I've heard
I'm not.
black, white, Latin, I've heard all kinds of men from all spectrums. It does not mean that you don't love your children, but I fucking guarantee if you can do it again, you would not do it. You would strap up and you'd be spending your money on probably coke hookers and traveling.
Right. Simple as that.
So
I bet the
I'm
listen,
not
majority,
saying
the
no.
majority of people
I'm not
feel,
saying
but
no.
but Haran,
But
it is fucking human. It
It
is
is human.
human.
yo,
It's
See,
look,
I used to feel like that.
human.
Dead ass, I used to feel like that. You know, my stepdad raised us, and I used to feel that way about him. Like as I got older, I used to sit back and think, like, I wonder if he been like, what the fuck did I do taking on two children, especially two that aren't mine? Because this man was when he met my mother, young, very nice looking, still very nice looking, and made good money. And then he decided to take on a woman with 2 children, and he raised us. And I used to be like, "You got, dude." Like, it's as simple as that.
People
Like,
are so afraid to admit that because they feel like it's gonna make me a bad parent. No, that it's fucking women. Women think it, men think it. No one says it out loud. It's like you're gonna be no. Let me tell you, the majority of motherfuckers, okay, are like, how the fuck I get in? I got 4 fucking kids. I got 3 kids. I got 2 kids. I don't want nobody in my fucking pocket. I'd rather be traveling, fucking bitches. That's life.
Well, I don't want to say this because Haran and I spoke about this last night. I'm one of the outliers then, because I was saying when I was in the process where I thought I was getting a divorce, I was actually contemplating how I could live on the street, take a shower at the gym, so my kids wouldn't have to suffer because their parents split off. I didn't want them to have to, because I knew there's no way I could support 2 households without them moving out and going to a lesser school. And so for me, it was about like the money goes to that was my whole mission at that point, was to make sure my kids didn't feel anything different. Now, could I pull it off? Probably not. I don't know what would have happened if it all would have gone the way it was going. You know what I mean? But what you're saying, there's a couple of things in play here. Yeah, I think it'd absolutely be a better place if we knew going into it that if the person stayed so many years, this is what they were going to get. Like what you're saying Michael Jordan's doing. I think that's a better way, because at least there's no surprises. You don't go to court and say, oh my God, right? The other part of that is, though, that Michael Jordan has a much bigger piece of the pie than the average person. So what they're taking, even though he's giving a lot of money, he's got a lot more money than the average person has. So that even though $1 million is a lot of money, it's probably, if you look at it to what the average person's losing when they get a divorce, it hurts the average person more than it hurts Michael Jordan.
Well, shit.
Yeah, but we weren't even talking about that. We were talking about like how people, when hindsight is 2020, and they're like, I shouldn't have had this kid or shouldn't have had all these kids. And there's divorce. You're not even with the fucking other parent. So I think it strengthens that idea of like, I'm not even with this bitch no more. Now I got to take care of the kid. And it's not to say that you don't love your children.
But people are not looking at it the right way. I've always said that. If we talked about this the other day, Jen, I'm like, the laws are fair. They really are fair when you're looking at who's got the kids, who's taking care of the kids 24/7. That money's not going to the other parent because they're making out like they won the lottery. That money's going for a household with kids in it. If it were the man getting the kids and the woman would have to pay the child support, it's the same thing.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But we're talking about 2 different things.
Okay.
The money, we're talking about 2 different things. You're on, no, the kids deserve the money and the woman deserves the money because she has the kids 24 hours a day. So I'm the outlier. I'll sleep on the street so my kids' lifestyle won't change. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a lot of parents, if they can do it again, wouldn't even have fucking kids to worry about living on the street for. But the children are here, and it is forbidden that we say, I wouldn't have did it this way had I known this was the outcome. That's what I'm talking about.
Again, we wouldn't have done a lot of things if we know the outcome. I mean,
right? And kids, all right, and kids is one of them. Having children is one of them.
I would have still had kids when I did.
Me too.
Simply because my kids are grown now, and I know now that the sooner I have them, the sooner they get older and grown. So I couldn't imagine taking care of young kids.
Kari,
45, 46. You know what I'm saying?
If I would have done, that's the one thing I would have done different, Kari. I would have had children earlier than 35.
I think children would have always been in my future. Yeah, if I could have done it at 16, I probably would have had my kids at 16. They probably would be kind of gangster right now than what they are now. They're nowhere near like tough kids and shit.
I had a friend that had it at 21. See this again. 40. Yeah.
I'm glad I'm done.
That's going over. No. It's going over their head, Jen.
They're not getting it. They're not getting it. The conference kids are more. Wait a minute. Let's talk one at a time, please, because I have a short nerve today. I apologize. I love y'all, but I can't do the 5 people talking. Not tonight. So this guy, kids are more rewarding than you think. What do you mean than I think? I wouldn't trade my daughter for anything. I take a fucking bullet for my daughter. That doesn't change anything. But it's going over your heads. It is going over your heads. Right now, if you had a fucking time machine and said, listen, I am going to drop $50 million in your lap. Just don't have children. You can travel to where you get the majority of you saying, I love my kids. I'm glad I have my kids. You'd be
I
like,
wouldn't
take
take
them
that deal.
fucking right. Yes, you would. Yes, you would.
No.
It's just not, listen,
For the
yes, you
option to
would.
never
It's
have
just
children,
not, it's
$50 million or never have children.
listen. Yes, the majority of people would, because here's the
Because you're thinking
thing.
about your children.
No, I'm thinking
Exactly.
about myself personally,
Yeah.
but I would want to have children.
No, you're thinking about your kids. You're thinking
Regardless,
about your kids.
I would want kids in my lifetime.
But here's the thing too. Another thing that human beings do. I used to think it was like us, the color folk, but in general, I noticed there's something human beings do. It's like struggle is normalcy.
Yes.
Listen to what I said
Yes.
before y'all jump in and start talking over my mic, please. No, and I don't mean you, Lily, because these guys, I need the fucking rolled up newspaper for them tonight. But listen to me. Struggle is normalcy. Look at the average American home. Look at the average American home. It's usually a man who's busting his fucking ass to raise children. Okay? And he's stressed and he's worried and he's like, damn, if I don't have a fucking job, what is going to happen to this family? And Christmas is coming and college tuition. There's always a stress. It's not nonchalant. It's like, oh, I got 4 kids? Shit. Let me write that check. Who wants to go to Howard? Who wants to go to Princeton? No, it's fuck. I got to get these kids through college. I got to stay married to this woman just long enough to fucking raise these kids. That's the average American home. They grow up, they find a bitch, they get married. Now she's pumping kids out. Now y'all both like, we have to keep this family together and we have to have a home and we have to pay a mortgage and Johnny's going to need braces. There's that constant pressure, and that's normalcy. And that's across the board, ethnicity, race, or whatever. It is literally normal to fucking want to grow up, get married, have a child, 2, 3, or 4, and then fucking struggle with a bitch you got bored of after the 3rd year of marriage. That's normal. It's normalcy. Why is struggle normalcy? That's my question when I look at human beings. Why is it normalcy? Why? So when I meet friends or I have friends that are like, I ain't never having kids, I say, I don't fucking blame you. Don't do it. I look at young people now, I'm like, travel, learn, explore, read, experience, meet. Do not think that you got to grow up. Oh, I'm out of college now. I guess I got to find me a wife or a husband and go have 2, 3 kids. And, let's struggle in the mortgage and this and inflation and that. It's normal for human beings to do this. Why do people keep doing this? It's insanity. It's insanity.
So you know what, Jen? As you all know, I have made a lot of big mistakes in my life, right? A lot of them. And I often think 40-plus-year-old me thinks a lot. And I said, but the one thing I did right was not have children. Because of what you just said. Because I look around and I see certain things and I'm like, damn, glad I avoided that. Damn, I'm glad I avoided that. Damn, I'm glad I got to go through that. And then those days when I'm just like, you know what? I feel like going to Chicago. I'm gone. Right? Like just things like that. I get a lot more of my life. And I was confused for a long time for a couple of things. I love kids. I'm really good with kids. Kids love me. And for those 3 things, I thought I was supposed to be somebody's parent. Plus, this world convinces you of what you said. When you get older, you get these symbols, these tags, these key tags of success, right? It's you gotta have the spouse, you gotta have the kid, you gotta have the house, you gotta have that car. You gotta have all these things to be considered a productive member of society. And we're just doing all of these things to compete or impress people that we really don't like or really don't like us. And now we're sitting there stressed on how we're going to keep the house, the car, the kids fed, and the kids make sure the kid like us and the home, all of that stuff. just really
And
for
it,
other people at the end of the
and it's
day.
really, and I understand, and I completely, totally understand. Trust me, I am super duper clear. I understand it's a hard conversation to have because even uttering the words, I would have did it different, or I wouldn't have had children, or I would have did that. I would have traveled. I would have married a woman, and her and I would have traveled. We wouldn't have been stuck like, how the fuck we gonna get these 4 kids to college? It, we've been bamboozled. That's all I'm saying. Like it's so natural for us to fuck and pop kids out, and now we got to worry about them. So it has nothing to do with you don't love your children. You wouldn't die for your children. You'd move earth, mountain, and water for your children. We all would. Every single one of us watching on the panel and everybody, all of us would. We can't even fathom a life without our children. Our children are a fucking world. But when I hear shit like, I want to have kids. Why? I just want to see what I look like as a kid. I want to have kids. Why? Because I want to leave a legacy. What are you leaving this child? What legacy? I want to have a kid. Lineage. What lineage? What are you leaving? And what are you leaving for these children other than fucking college bills? Like, what are you leaving for these? So we have to be very fucking, and I'm talking to young people because we already done. We got our kids, grandkids, because we already done. But I stress my nieces who are in college right now. I'm like, do not fucking get married and have children. Do your fucking life first.
Yes.
Live so much life
Yes.
and then decide. You know what? I want to settle down. But don't go by the adults that you saw before you, because we all fucked it up. We thought that struggle was normalcy. We all fucked it up. Don't even look at the adults. Don't even look at the adults. Even the ones that are like, oh no, we're good, we're happy, we love each other. Don't do it. Don't fucking do it. I'm telling you, when I hear kids now and they're like, I ain't having kids. Good. Go travel. Go learn. Go to college. Have fun.
A lot of them are
Well,
saying it now too, and I'm loving it.
I'm finding
I
this
just gotta say one
interesting.
thing. One second, no saying. I just gotta say something real quick. First of all, I would have took the fucking money without a problem. A lot of took the fucking money. I took the fucking money. Probably still would have had sex with her mom, but I would have been a lot more careful. But anyway, I would have took the fucking money.
Right.
Now, this is saying this. A lot of you brothers are in the situation right now that you're in because you're not
Thank you,
nearly
AJ.
you're not nearly as fucking ruthless and selfish as you should be or as you think you are. You allow these people to use you as a fucking utility. You allow these people to, mule you. You allow these people to motherfucking run you through the fucking ground. And when they're done with you, they throw you in the fucking trash and they run off with the fucking pool boy. Or maybe even fucking, or maybe your fucking best friend, whoever gives a fuck. First of all, let me tell you something. Right now, in a particular situation, there's a family member in my life. Well, not in my life, but one of my family members. They're sick at the moment. They're in an old folks home, and they need some sort of financial assistance. Somebody called me up about it. I said, "Hey, that's not really my problem. I don't have any money for that. My money goes to my kid and me. I'm not carrying another motherfucking, person on my back. That person's in that situation because they made the situations and they made the decisions that they made. I don't give a fuck. I eat my steak still tastes amazing afterwards, after I said those words, because I don't give a fuck. Because look, listen, you can't sit here and think that the world is going to should constantly love you as men, constantly love you as men through thick and thin, so on and so forth, when you're looking at it from a very naive perspective. Motherfuckers that we carry on our back half of the time, they're just there just to use us as a utility. After they're done with us, they'll throw us to the side. Some of us don't even remember our fucking names, man. I've seen that shit. I'm the first one to tell them, motherfucker, that's not my problem. As a matter of fact, I told Jen this story. They could, my dad could, one of my family members called me up one night, talking about, hey, your dad's in the hospital. He's suffering from cancer, blah, blah, blah. This might be it. This might be the last hurrah for him. I was like, fuck y'all calling me for? Like, what am I supposed to do in this situation? You know what I mean? I can't cure him. Why are you calling me? And I went back to my fucking life. You have to know where the buck stops, man. And a lot of these people that you revere and you see out there doing it in the so-called alphas, they know where the fucking buck stops, and they know how to say no. Not y'all, because you're taught that a man is supposed to carry 20 fucking people on his back, regardless of what, until your fucking knees collapse, until you're worthless, until you're broken, until you're broke, until you have nothing, and they throw you in the fucking trash. You know what I mean? And you think that when I tell you certain things and harsh things, you think that I'm not on your side. No, I am on your side. Those people that are using you, they're not on your fucking side, man. Those people that are telling you everything you want to hear, all that other shit, they're not on your fucking side, man.
And let me say that. Let me say this about women. Let me say this about women. I know somebody personally, and you probably know women like this too. I know many. A woman, right, is supposed to be a compliment to a man, his vision, his supporter, his rock. I'm all for that. I'm old fashioned in that way. You're supposed to be that man's rock.
Right.
Why the fuck? Okay. Why the fuck? If you see this is a regular working man, he's not wealthy. He's not Michael Jordan. He's not Michael Jordan. You're going to lay on your back and keep pushing him out. You're not going to tell him, babe, look, we got the one. Let's deal with the one. 2 tops. No, let's have another one. Motherfucker got a regular job. He's not wealthy. He's not planning on being wealthy. No one in his family is wealthy. But boom, here's another one. Why wouldn't you, as a woman, think, why would I put all this weight on this man because he's going to be the main breadwinner? Okay. I can work every now and then. I can make my money. I can raise these children. But financially, it's going to be on his back. And I know somebody personally, 5 kids. Her man looked half dead. Medical problems. Okay. And he's not even as old as we are. He's taking care of 5 kids and a fucking pit bull. And you don't stop to think this may be too much for my man. Maybe just a little bit. You can't use birth control. You can't pull him aside and be like, babe, we had 3 kids. Let's chill right here. Just keep pumping them out. Because why? Because what I said earlier, pressure and struggle is normal to human beings. It seems like if a human being is not struggling, they're not alive, they're not living. And I know people like this personally. If they don't have a struggle, they have no purpose. If they don't have nothing to complain about, they have no purpose. And if it's too good, they'll sabotage it. I do not understand. This has nothing to do with we don't love our children, but the majority of people would not have them. Famous quote, I wish I knew then what I know now. And even I'm speaking passionately. I'm speaking passionately because I was bamboozled. I'm looking at the world around me as a very young girl. And I'm like, oh, we're supposed to, well, my dad's here, my mom, that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to grow up and get a job and have babies. And it's bullshit. It's bullshit. That's why I tell young people, don't look at the world around you. Your parents struggled. Your grandparents struggled. Your great-grandparents. And I'm talking about average folks. I'm not talking about Michael Jordan. They set for life. But if we look at the average working person, and we are all the average working person right now, till one of us hits a lick, which could happen tomorrow. But as of today, we are regular working people. Okay, some of us check to check. Why do we do this generation after generation? We see our grandparents struggle, our parents struggle. Now we're struggling. Now we're teaching our kids, you struggle too. You go out there and take a girl to prom and your high school sweetheart and marry her and pump 3 kids out of her. Now they're fucking struggling. And then they have children and they're struggling because it's normal. Like, stop the fucking madness. Stop the fucking madness. That's all I'm saying. So when I look at kids now, and I have to take this comment right here from
I hope it's the one that I
Soul.
was about to address. I was about to address one. I hope it's that one.
A Bountiful Soul. What was it, Lily? She said
the one I was thinking about was you're gonna need your children. You're gonna need to have children. They're always concerned about our ass getting wiped when we get older. So
no,
this
I was
is another
actually
ass wiping concern.
Okay, no, I was actually talking about someone had typed it's a generational thing. Like the kids of today are doing things I would have never dreamed of. Because the
Oh,
kids of
that's a beautiful
today, I'm
thing.
telling you, the kids of today aren't bamboozled. Like they have way more information. They're not doing this shit. They're not doing the, oh, let's get married and have kids and they're not doing that. And salute to them. Salute to them. Okay. Oh, they disrespectful. Salute to them. Salute to them.
Yeah,
I'm
I love
serious.
that about I love that about this generation of kids, young adults that are coming up. They are not thinking about marriage. They're not thinking about children. They're thinking about living their best life, and they're also looking at mistakes that we made, not just in that, but in a lot of things. They're like, that didn't work too well for you. Didn't work too well for grandma. And according to what grandma said, it didn't work too well for her mom. I'm gonna do something a little different. Yeah, I'm gonna just take my chances, and I like that. Like I like people who learn from other people's mistakes. I tend to try to be that person. I look around me and be like, yeah, I don't want those results, or
No saying,
I kind of
I
like
know,
those results.
no saying, I know you want to say so.
Yeah, sure. So I get what you're saying. You're talking to someone who did exactly what you're saying that these
We
other
all
people should
did.
do. No. What I'm saying is this. If you are going to have kids, I waited. I traveled the world. I did a lot of things before I got married and had kids. I wasn't 35 until I had my first kid. So I waited. The thing is, you do pay one end or the other. Like Kyrie was saying. Now, if I would have had it at 25, I'd be done. And I'd be looking at other things. Right now, I still have another at least another 5 years before my last one gets to be 18. I'm a little older now, but I did exactly what you're saying. I traveled. I've been all over the place. I had fun. I love traveling still, and now I'm getting back into where I can do that again. But there was that time where you had to pay the price. If you have kids, if you choose to have kids, you're gonna have to pay a price. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And but so either have them or don't, and like you said, if you want to wait, the problem is with women most of all is there is that time frame where it gets harder, I think after 27 or 28, if you want to have kids. If you don't, then don't.
Yeah, I say just don't.
I say the majority of
There's so many.
humans. The
Go
majority
ahead,
of
Lily.
humans don't want the majority of humans don't want the children experience. They like the idea of the children, right? But the majority of people don't want that experience. The majority of people don't even want the marriage experience. They just like the idea of it, right? So I truly in my heart of hearts believe that. Like if people were really more honest with themselves about that fact and think to themselves like, do I really want to get married or do I just like the attention from the ring and do I like the whole wedding
Yeah.
experience and all of that? Like, do you know? Because that typically is the woman who thinks like that. Like we'll
Well,
think like we want this, huh?
no, Lily, I was gonna say, I know you watched a little bit of the show last night that Haran and I and Mr. Justin were on last night.
Lily just
And
said hi. She wasn't watching y'all.
I just said hi. I was minding my
I know.
my black owned business.
Lily
She
was
said,
like,
I know.
I was just trying to help your
So
algorithm.
if you would have watched, you would have seen where we actually discussed that. I said that when you are looking, you really don't have the plan for the in between once you get married and to the death. You have you have this plan. Okay, go to school, whatever, get a career, get married, have kids, and then from having kids that die, you're going to retire sometime, maybe if you're lucky, but you really don't know what's in between, and all that stuff in between can beat you up, and it's not always fun. Most of the time, it's not a lot of fun. It's a lot of mundane. Kids are tough. I mean, having kids is not an easy thing when it comes to your freedom of choice to do things, especially if you're not wealthy. If you're not wealthy, it's definitely tough.
and that's the point I'm making, that people run into tough. They run in with bells and was like, yay, I want struggle. Let's get you pregnant. Let's get you pregnant again. Let's get you pregnant. Woo! Struggle. Yeah. Oh, college. Yeah. Struggle. Like human beings run into it with open arms, and it has to stop. The
Well,
madness
And
has to
look
stop.
at the stats. The lower the income, the more the children. The higher the
yeah.
income, the less children or no children.
Well,
You
that's
notice
we.
that? They
You
get
need to
it. They're
watch.
like, oh shit.
Lily, you need to watch our show. We were talking about that too. We're talking about how the economies that do well, the people start having less and less kids. The better you do, the less kids you have. But listen, nobody says, like, for me, my parents didn't guarantee me a college education, and so luckily, and we've talked about this, my kids are going to get a college education, not because I saved money, because I'm a veteran, because I did things in my life that gave me a privilege to be able to send them to college for free. I'm really lucky. But if it wasn't for that, listen, my dad didn't buy me a car, nothing. You're on your own. Listen, I got you a roof, fed you, made sure you were safe, you didn't freeze to death. But everything you do after this, do like you can go to the military, you can get a loan. I'm not paying for that. You don't have to pay for your kids to go to college. You don't. Rich people do that. If you're not rich, how especially not now. College is crazy.
The few years I went to college, I paid for my own college.
I paid for my own, and I was in debt for a long time for some bullshit that I ain't use and didn't finish. That was another thing I was gooped on. Like that was honestly the only mistake I ever made in life. It's not any of the other stuff that you thought it would be. It was going to college because that was the only mistake that I paid for years for that. My credit was fucked up for fucking decades off of that dumbass decision. Like that was the decision that I felt like I was the most bamboozled on in my life. Was going to college.
Yeah, college cost me more than my divorce.
Damn.
Right. Right.
Black Lexicon says, Jen, you maybe could put at this time with having children, but I think replicating you would be beneficial for the world. Here's the thing. There's a myth that when you have children, it's like you again. It is not you again. It's a whole different other person, different entity, different beliefs, that's a whole other soul that honestly has nothing to do with you other than shared DNA. It's a completely different experiences, it's a completely different person. So no, but a lot of people have children making that mistake, thinking, oh, I want a mini me, a little me. And then you just stuck with some kid you got to support and send through college, and you're struggling, you're pissed off, and you're frustrated, and you're working 2 jobs. And that's really all that comes from it. And also another thing I don't like, aside from the adult aspect, is that you are bringing children into a struggle. That is what you're doing when you want to have children, and you don't have the college plan set up already, and you don't have, and that's for people who want to entertain this college thing, because I think that shit is that's a whole other topic, and if it's useful or not useful, unless you're going into a specific, you know what I mean, targeted trade or whatever, that's a whole other racket. That goes on.
What constitutes struggle? Because I feel like I only struggled up until about 28.
Well, what was struggle before?
So what was your struggle look? Oh, okay.
Yeah, what did it look like? What did you struggle?
My struggle was living like check to check. Like if I stopped working, I wasn't gonna be able to pay rent the next month.
So after 28, and then what happened after 28?
I just started making more money, which allowed me to save money and have money in the bank and put money towards other things.
Okay, so you didn't struggle after 28.
Right.
Every time your kids needed something, you was like, "Fuck yeah, here you go. Here's the check."
Yeah, if they needed it, not if they wanted it.
Okay. So I mean, if you didn't struggle, you didn't struggle. The majority of Americans are struggling. The majority,
especially the ones with kids.
And
the more Misty kids, the more they're struggling.
I know Misty said everybody's different, but the majority, without the fake 90% stat that everybody throws out, the majority of Americans, and we're not just talking about lower class. Middle class is like, what the fuck we gonna do now?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one too, because then I'm saying, okay, well, are we talking? The percentage thing is funny. 90% when you say 90%, because
No,
we
I
don't
didn't
really
say
know.
that.
No, I know
No,
you didn't say
yeah,
you
yeah.
didn't, but
I mean, we can easily
51%
look
could be the
that up.
majority. You know what I mean? 51% could be
Well,
the
we
majority,
can look
but it's
that up
still the
because
majority.
we don't even have
It's still a majority.
it is a majority because we don't even
It's
have a
more
middle
than
class
51.
anymore.
I guarantee it's more than 51%. I
You're
guarantee it.
yeah, you're probably right.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Guarantee it.
And just one
we
thing, men,
guarantee.
when we're talking about when we're talking about, you know, when someone said, "Oh, you're having your little mini me or whatever." You know what crushed me? You look at your DNA. Your your children have more of your mother's DNA than it does yours, which is bizarre. I thought it was 50-50. It's not 50-50. It's like 51-49. I'm like, what?
Well, you carry it around for 9 months then.
Right. That's what
I'm like, I don't even get
DNA came from.
She goes to court. She can actually say that kid is more me than it is.
I think
Somebody
there could
might
be
use
some
that as a
inherited
defense one
traits,
day.
though. Yeah, I think there
Lily,
could be some
lots of
inherited traits.
lots of dogs and cats at shelters. Go get you a dog or a cat.
I love
That's
Seriously.
it.
Love
Listen, you
dogs.
see how I figured it out. We good.
Dogs
we
are
good over
easy.
here.
Dogs
Right?
are easy.
We're good over
And
here, aren't we?
cats, I imagine.
Brat.
I'm just saying, stop the fucking struggle shit. If you got advise your kids not to do that struggle shit. Don't do it.
But yeah, I'd say what I think struggle is, as far as when Kari was answering his question. Yeah, struggle is like, for me, is like when you get paid and you pay all the bills, get all the groceries, and then you're like, oh God, when do I get paid again? You're like, oh damn, when's the next time I get paid? Oh shoot, you can't see a movie. You know, that's struggling. But I mean, and I've gone through that, but luckily, like Kyrie was saying, you know, you figure it out, or you make more money, or eventually you're not struggling. It's, you know, hopefully.
Right.
Welcome to America. Thank you, Daryl Allen. You got great comments, sir. AJ says
You got a
dog
college
is
degree.
a dog is a kid that never grows up.
It's true.
That's
It's
true.
very true. They're babies forever.
Oh my. But they love you when you
But
come
you
through
know-
that door. Woo.
Don't they? And it's like that unconditional love.
Yeah.
That's the one thing about animals. They give you that unconditional love. Like it
Looking,
don't
where's
freaking
my kids? But the dog's there giving me a hug.
Yep. Because the kid may or may not like you, but you're still responsible, or you will get
Rod
locked
said,
up.
Why is there so much month left at the end of the money?
And listen,
Don't do it. Don't do it. If you're
It's
under
so
30 and you're
true.
listening to me, don't do it. If you're under 30
I
and
mean,
you're
we look
listening,
at
don't do it.
the economy. I think it's like the middle class is being wiped out, so it has to be the majority that is struggling. You know, because there's really no middle class.
It's the majority for sure. It's the majority for sure. The rent, the more it's too much. Like I'm starting to think, like, is America like is the goal homeless, like global homelessness? Like, is like, are you trying to make homeless people? Because I'm looking at America and I'm looking at the cost of a fucking carton of eggs and milk and the rent, the way they're, you know, and they're not raising rent like, you know, hey, $50, sign a new lease, $50, $300. It's like, are you trying to make homeless people? Because it's kind of starting to feel and look like you want to make homeless people. This is interesting.
Yeah,
I think
they
people,
are. It's very clear.
I think people go ahead and have kids, like they go out there and they go get pets anytime they feel any kind of like way or they feel down. Let's go have a kid.
Right.
My life feels better
and
now.
that's why I think
I have that hole in my soul. Let's go have a kid.
That's why that's my suspicion for those people who are like living below the poverty line or whatever. It's because like they're like not, you know, they're depressed, they don't feel good. It's like fucking feels good, right? Like sex and drugs feel good.
Also, a lot of people, I'll say this: the only thing that they ever accomplish in life is have a kid.
I think the people that have kids is kind of like 50-50. Half of them have kids by accident, and half of them plan to have a bunch of kids or a few kids, but either they plan to have kids or they have kids by accident. And those that don't want kids just don't have
Well, another thing is like my whole thing when I was growing up was, okay, I said, okay, I'm not going to get married till I'm at least 25. So I didn't get married until I was 33, I think. But I had that set, right? And then the whole thing was, I thought I would know when I thought there would be something in my mind that would tell me that I'm ready for kids. And eventually it got to the point to where I was like, you know what? There's never going to be that perfect time, because in my mind, I had a perfect scenario. Now I wasn't coming, I wasn't working at a fast food restaurant. I was in the military. I had a career going, you know what I mean? So it wasn't like I had a lot of things going that were right, but I always thought it was going to be something that was going to feel right. Like I was going to be mature enough on the inside. Like I was going to know I'm a dad now, and that just never was going to happen. I said, listen, if we don't have kids now, we may never have kids, because I don't know if I'm going to ever feel ready. That was the question. Are you ready to have kids? And I'm like, I don't know. All right.
So that's how your children came to be. Like, are you ready to have kids?
Well, no, we were Erica and I. She said, we were married over a year. She says, you ready to have kids? And I had to, and that's the kind of person I am. I logically think things out, and I was expecting to know when someone asked me that I was going to have the right answer, But I'm always thinking of the future. I'm thinking about, I had a real bad anxiety about the future. So that's why I knew I would never have that. You could have asked me at 50 and I might have had the same answer, because I was looking for something that I couldn't grasp, a readiness, something that was going to tell me, yes, you are ready to have kids. Yeah.
Interesting. Why did you have a kid, Haran? Do you remember?
I'm trying to remember.
That nut was good.
I remember the night she was conceived. We got into an argument, and the nut that night was real good because it was some angry fucking sex. It was in the middle of a fucking hurricane. Long story.
That'll do
but
it.
Anyway,
that'll do it.
That's a long story. Yes.
I'm saying, not too many hurricanes hit New York.
Yeah, Sandy fucked a lot of shit up.
Yeah, if you think about the math, it works out because she's 10 years old now. So that happened, and I realized she was pregnant 2 days later because her behavior was so different. She started sleeping more. She started to, and I pick up on things with women, with their behavior and so on and so forth. And I was like, she's pregnant. And she thought she wasn't pregnant. She went and got the test. She went and got the test, and when she was about to take it, I was like, "Just understand now that you're pregnant, and if you are, we're just gonna have the kid."
Okay, so I want to go around. I want to go around the whole table.
I'm landing the plane here. She comes out. She's absolutely terrified. She's terrified in the eye. You know what I mean? And in that moment, I said to myself, I did want to. I did want a kid because I generally do like kids. But I would have taken that $50 million, though.
Okay, so you wanted to have a kid because why? Because you landed the plane and I still don't have an answer. You wanted to have a kid because why?
I do like children. That's just it. And
you was like, I just like kids. Okay, so you wanted to have a child.
I didn't want to have a lot. I just wanted to have one kid because I do like children. I wanted someone to pass a legacy on to. Pass, the things that I do build. I wanted to pass that on to someone. I do.
I think it's interesting how human beings are so poetic about that. Like, I wanted to pass a legacy when we're just monkeys.
Okay.
We're not even gonna be around the experience, and it's like,
yeah, it's like, I mean, it's like, no, but humans are very. This reminds me of the movie Devil's Advocate, right? Where we try and we all do this. We all get very poetic about, and I'm just being Devil's Advocate. We all get very poetic. I want to pass down. We're fucking hairless monkeys. We're hairless monkeys. We fucking babies happen, right?
Without tails too, no tails.
Right, no tails.
Yeah.
No tails.
Without tails.
So it's like we put a lot on it, and it's just fucking produces offspring.
But you better not call me no monkey. Right,
Right.
people. I'm just saying. I'm just
What?
saying. All
So
right.
I go silent when she starts with that bullshit.
Nah, but
like
I'm
so
a primate. I admit I am a primate, but
so Kari, why did you want to have children?
I don't know why I wanted to have kids. I just knew I wanted to have kids. That's one of the few things I thought I thought about as a kid for the future. Like I never really thought about marriage. My current career, I didn't think about. Going to college, I didn't think about. Having kids was like the only thing that I thought about that I actually planned and did in my life. A lot of things that happened to me in life and that I've accomplished in life, I didn't plan. It just
So
fell into
you don't
place.
know why, you just knew you wanted to have kids one day.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
NoSaint, why'd you have children?
So yeah, I was one. I'm like Kari said, I knew I wanted to have children at a young age. I wanted to have a family, but to be honest, because I was a little bit older, I had experienced a lot of things, and I know my parents gave me opportunities to enjoy a lot of things when I was a kid, and I just wanted to share that part of life with someone else. I wanted to give back because I had lived a while doing things I wanted to do, and it gets kind of vaping, is that the right word? Like if you're just doing something for yourself all the time, you're not
I love that.
giving.
I love that you said that. I love that you said that because
Uh-oh.
here's no, it's
I'm
nothing
gonna
bad.
get hit. Okay.
No, it's nothing bad. I love that you said that because it's honest, and it's the same way people go into romantic relationships, right? Why did I have a kid? I'll put myself in the hot seat. I was in love with her father. I was thinking eugenics. I know you hate that word, NoSaint. He was a bodybuilder. My body's banging. We were both very attractive. I was like, oh, I want to see us little. That's why I had a kid.
Mm.
Right? That's why I'm in love with this man. I'm like, been together 13 years. Let's have this baby. Huh?
Kool-Aid flavor, like Kool-Aid, like let's mix this stuff up and turn it around and see what happens.
Exactly like Kool-Aid. Exactly like Kool-Aid. So
Damn.
Kool-Aid
yes,
would have been cheaper.
right?
Exactly.
And totally, Lily, I got a container in the cabinet. I know. I was gonna drink Kool-Aid today, but I didn't feel like getting the container shit. Real talk. So, because I got tired of drinking Pepsi, I was like, I want some fucking Kool-Aid. So, but going back to what NoSaint said, it is the most honest answer. And here's why. It's the same way people go into romantic relationships. We usually go into romantic relationships and having children. It's an us thing. You rarely hear people say, I want to have children because I want to make this person's life amazing. I want to contribute to this person's life. I want to put someone on the planet that X, Y, and Z. Same way we go into relationships. Like, what can this person do for me? That's how we go into relationships. Very rarely do men or women say, I want to go out and find a partner because I want to give them everything. I want to make their life better. I want to contribute to their success. No, we're like, what do you bring to the table? What are you going to do for me? Is your sex going to be good? Is your head going to be good? Can you cook? Can you clean? What's your tax bracket? How much money do you make, sir? Are you attractive? Will you be a good father? We go into relationships thinking, I'm looking for someone that could do something for me. Right? We don't go around scouring the earth. I want to meet somebody I can give this to. I want to give all this to, right? My submission. I want to give someone. No, we're like, what do you bring to the table? Men and women do that. We have children the same way. We usually have children for selfish reasons. I just want to see what we look like. I'm in love with this man, so I just want to see what we look like mixed together. Kari, I don't know why I had kids. I just knew, that's the one thing I want to do. I want to have kids. I don't know why I want to. Haran, that was just a good nut. She comes out crying. I think I'm pregnant. Well, we keeping it. All right. How about them Knicks? Right? So and NoSaint just admitted it. NoSaint just admitted it. He was like, well, it was kind of my selfish shit. I decided I wanted to, share something, but you decided. The kids don't decide. The kids never decide. We have them, but the kids don't decide. But again, human beings are a very interesting bunch because we put a lot more on shit than it actually is. That's why I bring up monkeys. Monkeys fucking have babies. So do cockroaches.
Can you highlight
so do cockroaches.
On my Vegatron? He doesn't even
yeah,
realize the in his statement
Which
right
one?
there. I go into relationships because, damn it, I like you. Bro, you literally just said, I like you. That's why I went into a relationship with you. You made me feel a certain way. I want to get into a relationship with you.
Exhibit
If
A.
you didn't feel that way, but she felt
Always
that
shows
way,
up.
would you show up in the relationship? Would you get involved with her? You fucking wouldn't. We are selfish. We are human
Yes.
beings. It's about the benefits. It's not about the features. It's not about the marriage. People get it. Well, marriage is this, marriage is that, blah 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 blah. No, people get into marriages because they get into it for the benefits.
Now he's trying to clean it up, but this is nonsensical. If I like you, it means you like me. That doesn't make sense.
Chabu bye.
It doesn't make sense.
That's what half the damn gender wars is going on around online now because
I wish
motherfuckers
it was
is mad
that
because the people
easy.
that they
I
like
wish it
don't
was
like
that
them.
easy.
Right? No, say I like Jason Momoa. I like Jason Momoa.
Believe me, I wish it was that easy.
You sound like Joe from You.
I can hear that in Joe's voice. I can hear that in Joe's voice. If I like you, it means you like me. It must mean you like me. Yo, I hear that in his voice right now. Ryan Adams says, I'm a 38 single male, no children. Should I settle down? Nope. Nope.
Yeah, I would say if you don't want children, don't have them.
Yeah, but the problem is that people don't want kids have them because the sex is good.
Yeah,
because the sex is hella good.
Yeah, that's that percent that be having them by accident.
It's like, and babies are cute, adorable, and then they get older.
The baby fever. Oh my God, baby fever.
And eventually they get older, and then eventually the only person that likes them are their parents for a little while anyway.
If you like kids because they're babies, just borrow other people's.
Yeah.
That's a great babysit on the weekends. That shit'll scare you straight.
Yeah.
No, on my Vegatron, they come for me because I actually have a degree of self-confidence. I don't need motherfuckers to validate me. And if I say that I'm a bona fide bad motherfucker, then I'm a bona fide bad motherfucker. And I actually have the resume to fucking prove that. And I don't need to sit here and behave as if like, well, I'm just glad to be here. And, I'm just happy and be like, well, if you feel that way, then you'll always be second, third, fourth, and you'll always be the motherfucker nobody fucking gives a shit about. Hence why a lot of you are in the situation you're in now. Anyway, Jen, go ahead.
Please hit that like and subscribe. Thank you. Yeah, no, this has been a very, very enlightening, interesting conversation. These conversations are not easy to have. They're not easy to have because you have to admit some shit. But again, this does not take away from we love our babies and we will move hell in hot water and take a bullet for our children. It does not change. They're here. We love them. They're here. We can't imagine life without them.
I'll tell you one thing. I love Auntie Duty. That is the best thing ever. When I go and I watch my niece and nephew, I get to be the fun one, right? I don't have to discipline anyone, so I'm always the good guy, right? It's just so fabulous. Like being an auntie is the best thing ever. I'm like, yeah, I'll take this job.
That's what grandma.
Girl. It's similar to the grandma thing, right?
Yeah, it's grandma life. That is grandma life. Be like, okay, you can go now. You good. That's
right.
your mama over
I get
there.
to be the fun one. Yep. I don't do the
cookies.
discipline.
You want to eat
cookies? Right, cookies. We play like all that stuff. Like that's my job. Like I'm the fun one.
And let me just say thank you immensely to the gentleman on the panel who came with it and were fucking honest and let me put them in the fucking hot seat. Thank you. I salute you for that. Because a lot of people, in the world of social media, everybody's faking a funk. Everybody's perfect. Everybody wanted to do that. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. But these are, we got 40 people in the room right now. Hopefully all of them click like. These are the stories that people need to hear. This is the real, right? This is the real. We could have sat up here and be like, oh no, I wouldn't have changed a thing in my children. This is the real, man. We're human. We're still trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? All the way to the end. And shit happens. But I love this panel. I love the block because like we keep it real. Why everybody's like, hey, look at. Yeah, okay. When it's just you in the room alone, the door closed, and you're hearing all the ruckus outside the room, and the kids are yelling, the dog is barking.
I've
You're
met
just
some of
sitting.
our lurkers too. Because I've
Really?
had people like, yeah, people like, oh, y'all be crazy on the show. Well, I didn't know you was watching because you'll never say anything, but thanks for watching. Yep,
Hmm.
I got that a couple of times this weekend while I was
Hmm.
out.
And with that
Shout out to
said,
the
before
lurkers.
shout out to the lurkers. And with that said, because this was a tough convo, but with that said, do not Gmail me about there are people out there who grow up and their life's passion and mission is to get married and have children. And it was that I get it. Yes, there are those people out there. Salute to you. I hope you are well and not struggling. Um, we have 20 minutes. You guys want to get into the main topic?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Whoa. I didn't know we all right.
No,
I mean,
saying I was like, there was a
that
main.
was dope, but let's do it.
I didn't know I thought we were already in it.
Well, we made it the main topic. Dara Allen, I think life is a never-ending journey of learning others and learning ourselves, but we will never learn everything. So it is best to just enjoy yourself and the important ones
That's
around
right.
you.
I love it. I'm
Perfect
here
way to
for it.
end that conversation. Absolutely. Thank you for
I
that
approve
comment.
this
Perfect way.
message.
Absolutely. So actually, No Saint and the rest of the gents on the panel and the lady, is it time men unplug from YouTube coaches? Is it time men unplug from YouTube coaches? Is the jig up, guys? I like this topic because I took it from something that Haran had said, excuse me, basically saying that it doesn't matter what a coach is quote unquote saying. I use the word coach loosely because these men aren't qualified, right? They have a webcam. Okay, so you know, no matter what they say, the men in the comments, I spoke about this before, want to see the women destroyed or bashed and what have you. And Haran was saying, because it's about revenge porn. These guys are in the comments for revenge porn. And the ones that do the best at bashing women, as you know, blow up quickly. We saw it with Kevin Samuels. We saw it with the Pearly Things lady. We saw it with Andrew Tate. We see it with, the red pill and what have you. These guys blow up very, very quickly, but the ones that bash the women the most blow up even faster. And it goes back to what Haran said. It doesn't matter what's being said, long as it looks and feels and sounds like revenge porn. Now, I know you guys think, well, revenge porn is actually someone taking a woman's picture and sharing it or blasting it. But the way Haran put it, I'll let him take the mic because he explained it quite interestingly.
Yeah, when I was talking about revenge porn, it was in the sense of a lot of guys are walking around with this hurt, this trauma. They might even be going through a particular situation currently where they want to actually have the gall to stand up to some of to a woman in their life that's actually treating them in a toxic manner, or maybe they were a guy who got railroaded. Maybe they were a guy who should have dealt with whatever, what have you, but they never took the opportunity to deal with it in a healthy manner. They still are walking around with that anger and that angst. And an opportunity when they see Kevin Samuels when he was doing what he was doing, when they see Fresh and Fit doing what they were doing, they live vicariously through those guys. They live vicariously through those guys. They see those in their minds. They're seeing opportunities to get back, get that moment of get back that they could never experience, that revenge, and they get off on it. So the idea is like this is some form of revenge porn, man. And that shit, all that shit is just gonna eat away at you even more, rather than you actually dealing with the core issue, the core problem. Whether it was maybe it was her, maybe it was you, maybe it was a little bit of both. But as a person who has dealt with anger issues my whole life, and I have lost relationships, jobs. Sometimes I was in situations where I almost lost my life. if you don't deal with those things, man, it's just going to continue to chip away at your mind and your life, and you're going to wake up one morning and you're going to find out that you're left with nothing but that fucking anger. And
Lily,
that's
are you Lily, are YouTube coaches making dating worse or better for these men? Are they helping these men, you think?
They're definitely not helping because they're not interested in helping. They're interested in making money. Two different things, right? If they were interested in helping, they wouldn't make money because the reality is they're really not the problem. Their audience is the problem. And I learned that from trying to teach people modeling is that people want sweet little lies. They don't want harsh truths. Like the conversation we just had, people don't like having those type of conversations, but having those type of conversations will better prepare you for making better decisions, right? People don't, they're not interested in that shit, especially us Americans. We always want to be entertained, right? We want to feel good. And so that's what they give them, supply and demand. So are they making it better? Hell no, they're making it worse, but they don't give a damn because they're giving the public what they want.
Mm. Kari, are you single?
I am single, yes,
You are
technically.
single. Okay, so ooh, what would she say? You said technically. There's a woman right now, like, I
Yeah,
know he didn't say
yeah,
he's single.
technically.
All right.
She's here most weekends, but technically we're single.
Okay,
You know,
fair enough. I know you've seen a ton of dating coaches. Do you think that the YouTube coaches are making dating worse or better for men because they have a huge male audience? Do you think men are getting anything out of it?
I think it's making it worse because a lot of people are going under the misconception that they're actually coaches, when in fact they're just people giving you their opinion. You know, a coach is trying to have you be a better you. They're giving their opinion on what they think, on how they think you should be behaving because that's how they behave. They're not trying to make you a better you. I think a coach is trying to make you be a better you at whatever they're coaching you at. And it doesn't start off with um, blaming the other gender. You know, which it seems like a lot of these coaches are doing. Women are doing this, women are doing that, blah 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 blah. This is how you need to act, and without actually knowing any of these people's personalities, anything that these people are actually going through or actually doing, or how they actually think. So I think they're doing it injustice, and I think people need to do their research and figure out things for themselves before they take advice from people on the internet.
NoSaint, better or worse for dating? Like you have young boys,
Yeah.
they're coming up in this generation of things and they're online. I'm sure like all our kids are. This is what they're seeing. They're seeing men coach young men into the dating world. What do you think about it?
Well, I think coaching online, first of all, as you said, they're not professional, right? So they're not trained coaches if they are coaches at all. But not just that. It's like when you Google, you have something that you going on and you Google it like, oh shoot, now I got cancer. You don't know if you have cancer. You haven't done any blood tests. You can't go online and get a solution for your problem because that person has no idea of what's going on. It's you can't diagnose something without getting into that person. So they may these so-called coaches may give you some kind of advice that may be helpful, but in reality, if you really want to get a coach or you're going to have to go to someone personally and they're going to have to know what's going on. And you're like, what happened in that relationship? It might not be the guy's fault. It could be it may be, but you got to know basically that's what I'm saying is you got to get diagnosed on a personal basis, not online, because that person is it's a one size fits all solutions. And half the time they're just like Lily said, they're trying to get people to watch them and make money by blaming someone else, saying it's not your fault.
Yeah,
Well, maybe it is your fault. It might be your
yeah,
fault,
they're monetizing off of people's pain and trauma, right? They're telling people what they want to hear, and that goes back to the revenge statement.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly, Lily. That they're giving someone they're making people feel good by taking whatever issues they had or whatever their problems were, right? In other words, you might have had, when you had let's say, like Haran said, someone had a past couple of relationships and they felt they got disrespected or treated bad. You can see what that other person's, you can sit there and focus on what that other person did to you. You're not going to necessarily know what you may have done to contribute to that reaction from that other person, right? And that's where someone, if they know you and are honest with you, can say, okay, I see what's going on here. Like Mr. Justin does that when he coaches his people. He sits there and gets to know them, and then can give them a more of an educated guess on what's going on in the situation. But online, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. I think it's like a herd mentality almost. People like to hear what they want to hear. They want to hear opinions that are like-minded opinions is there. So they go and listen because this person's going to have opinions that's similar to theirs and kind of make them feel validated with how they feel and think.
I think a lot of times as human beings, a lot of us do this. We think no one else contributes to our successes, but we think everyone contributes is the reason for our failures.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I was telling a young man this other day, it was his first day of college, and I told him, if you want to be a solid and healthy man, do two things correctly. Share the credit, and only you take the blame.
Right. It's that. Look at Black Lexicon's comment. I love that one. That's a really good one.
And a lot of times these coaches, they live on the idea of getting their customers or their monkeys to believe you're not the problem.
Right.
You ain't doing it.
Well,
they did it.
So that's the same as religion to me, because I was thinking about that this morning. Like, religion teaches you to look at everything outside of yourself. It doesn't talk about any type of real self-accountability. Like, it'll give you pseudo self-accountability, but mostly it's like going to be that, Jesus going to save you and the devil did it, right? So it's kind of sort of in the same vein. It's very religion-esque. And then they got the leader that people deify and the cult, and you can't say anything bad about them no matter what. There's the blind allegiance. It reminds me of a lot of religion, and people like to deify.
And to think that you can, teach somebody on a whole to deal with, like, every person. In other words, I'm stumbling right now because I'm thinking you're trying to teach people like it's cookie cutter, like the next relationship you're going to run into, this is going to work because all the people are the same. All the women are the same. All the men are the same. So if you do this, well, that's not how it works. And not just Haran, what you're saying about people being like guys being angry and want to get revenge. I've always wondered, like, why can't we look at it differently? So let's say you did get treated wrong in a relationship, right? Are you, is it because you feel that you've gotten fooled that you're suddenly offended that you need to look at it as, listen, that is that person. It's not really you. It's that person that did that to you. That was their flaw. Yes, I got fooled, but many people would get fooled in these situations. It's not something that makes you less of a person because you got treated wrong, but people want to take it out and then say, oh, all women are like this, or I want to see her destroyed. It's just like, what?
Their favorite word. Person. So are we doing a disservice to I'm glad you said that, NoSaint, because we see that a lot in like the Fresh and Fits and like the Access Vegas, the show I was on. Great point. You don't even know that woman speaking, right? But in the comments, the vitriol that those men are exhibiting, you would think that that's the girl that cheated on him, or that's the girl that took him to, I mean, they go in like, yeah, destroy her. Don't let her say that. It's like a gladiator. Yeah, it's a gladiator arena, and the women are just sitting there, with their perky implants. Like, what did I do? I'm just talking about how I feel about life and relationships, and they are attacking her viciously. I mean, viciously. in the comments. Are we doing a disservice to the younger men that are online by not calling these people what they are, cult leaders? Because when you look at a cult, the definition of a cult, like Lily was saying, the leader is deified. You can't say anything around them. They have huge followings. Everybody's looking the same. I mean, Andrew Tate, in support of Andrew Tate, a bunch of dudes went and cut their head bald. That's a cult. That's a cult.
Right. Oh, it's really weird. And when it just literally everything about it reminds me of a cult because they just refuse to see the blind allegiance. They refuse to see any kind of logic. Um, for whatever reason, I don't understand because my mind just doesn't work like that. So I don't understand, and I understand that I don't need to understand everything. That's the beauty of it.
When I
Um,
saw this show on Netflix, How to Be a Cult Leader, and they it's a documentary on different cult leaders and stuff and how they
mhm.
become. I'm with you, Lily. I watch it and I'm like, do you not see how stupid this is? Do you not do you not see that this man is just getting richer and richer while making you believe and wear like red clothes and you know what I mean, chant the same thing. It's the same thing with these YouTube coaches. They have you repeating what they're saying, and it's funny. They're like parrots, like they're little parrots, and then you know the body count in the submissive, and now the new thing is women shouldn't vote. Women shouldn't vote, and you support. Now that I was telling Haran, that's out of all the stupid shit I've heard these cults repeat. That by far. So the key to getting your candidate to win is by stopping women in your home from voting. Dig that, because that'll give the person you're voting for a better chance if all these women don't vote because it shows they're being submissive to you. So you're taking all these votes away from the women so you can show you're the man of the house, and then maybe your candidate will win even though women put Trump in office. But no. You can't, if you're submissive to your man, you're not supposed to vote. Like out of all the stupid cockamamie bamboozling shit I ever heard, that right there.
Um, I recently resigned from one of my positions. It's a great position. You know what I mean? The manager was cool, but we were dealing with a lot of bureaucracy, and it was in the middle of a merger. But anyway, the process fucking sucked. It was terrible. It was disorganized, and I tried to work with them, and it still fucking sucked. And I said to myself, okay, I don't have to be here. If this sucks, I can leave. Basically putting the power in my hands, saying that I don't have to deal with this. So I left, and I told them this will be my last day of, being around here and so on, bring my resignation. There were some odd feelings as there usually are. But the point of the matter is that a lot of times we're in relationships, we're in situations, and we become enslaved by the situation, and we think that we have no choice because the weight of the situation is so heavy on us. Sometimes we just don't let go and just push it away, just leave. And sometimes, a lot of times, when people stay in it for too long, that's when they get the resentful feeling. That's when they get the victim like feeling, and that's when they get all those fucking feelings because they forgot at some point in time you did have the power to leave. You did
Mm-hmm.
have the power to say fuck this shit and move and move on.
Been there, done
So
that. And you know what's funny? And then I want to ask No Saint a question. But you know what's funny? You're absolutely right, Haram, because when I found myself mad at an ex, it was because I wasn't taking accountability. And I'm using that in the educated sense of the word, not like these dickheads use it online. Accountable, you gotta hold women accountable. Right? No. You hold yourself accountable. Accountability is not a group sport. It is not a group sport. Okay. You can't mass accountable, right? You can't do that. You have to hold yourself accountable. But the times where I was resentful and I was like, I was like, oh, I wasn't holding myself accountable for, you could have left, Jen. Like you could have just left.
Yep.
right? So
Yep.
that's a great point. When you hold yourself accountable and you realize, like No Saint was saying a little while ago, like maybe it was you. Maybe it was
Because
you.
there's
Maybe
been
it
times
wasn't her. Maybe it was you.
at jobs when I went down with the ship, and I had to take what was on the end of that shit because it's like I didn't have to go down with the fucking ship. You know what I mean? I chose to do that because I needed to hold on. I needed to win. I needed to this. I needed to like fuck that. Sometimes some things is just bigger than you. Sometimes it's just way out of your fucking pay grade. Here, you go deal with this shit. I'm out.
But see
Mm-hmm.
that you know what helped me with that? I'll be thinking, would this job go down with my ship? Fuck
Right.
no.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I look at it also. I learned this early on that everyone is replaceable. Everyone's replaceable. When we turned on Wendy Williams show, it said Wendy Williams up there and Sherry Shepherd was sitting her ass right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody's replaceable.
Motherfuckers
So
ain't even
to
know.
break your right.
So I
So
wanted to
it's just
ask
that simple.
I wanted to ask No Saint because we are comparing these YouTube coaches. Come on out, No Saint. You're the only one I think on the panel, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but you're the only one that was actually in the cult. You were in a cult.
Yeah.
Now, for us, we're kind of like, how the fuck does that happen? How do they bamboozle you? How do you go in so deep? What about you or your personality did you realize was the reason that you even got involved? Why did you stay? Like, take us through that before we go. Like, how does one end up in a cult? Because we know these guys are in the social media, a YouTube coach cult because they're resentful and they don't take accountability for either picking wrong or not being, you know what I mean, productive men and getting left to the wayside. So what about, how did you get involved in a cult? How does that even happen?
Well, so yeah, there's a few ways you can. My situation is I was probably 2 or 3 years old being brought to it, right? So it wasn't something that I it wasn't like, I didn't have really much of a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, my mom was the one. My dad never got involved, so my mom was the one that got was the one that heard on the radio. It was a radio program, and
Oh,
then a radio
there was a
program.
commercial. There was a
Basically, yeah, it was
commercial.
like preaching on the radio. It sounded different. Then you get involved with a local. You find where the local congregation is. You start going there, and so. But the reason that many stay, I can say this
Mm-hmm.
because it does run through your mind when you're doing anything that's supposed to be like against God or a sin. It's constantly running in your mind that, well, I hope the world doesn't end today because I don't want to be I don't want to be in the lake of fire. You're always so there's the fear of missing out because if you stay in, there's a reward for you. You're gonna be the one teaching the rest of the world the true ways and where their errors are, and you're gonna be like a mini god, almost like a demigod, or you know you're going to be in a special spot where everybody else who hadn't learned, well, they got to learn now under you, right? So you're going to get
Mm-hmm.
that. And then, but if you leave, you're done. There is no second chance for you because you've been shown all the truth, right? So you don't get a second chance. Jen, you'll get a second chance. You can die, you get resurrected and get taught. The person that already know the truth, you have no second chance. So it keeps you
Mm.
there as well. And there's camaraderie. It's about feeling special. It's about feeling us versus them. Like all the cult members. You saw it, and I saw that documentary as well. You saw all of them. They always think that they're doing this to us because we're the truth, or we have the truth, or so it's victimhood. You get that victim mentality, almost like you're a victim. The rest of the world is against you because you have the real truth and everything. It's a bunch of really psychological things that keeps you there. By the time I was in my early 20s, I was fading fast. Now I still wasn't sure. I was still going
Mm-hmm.
because of what I told you. I didn't want to make a mistake. I didn't want to make the mistake. But eventually, that the reason that I was on my way out, but the reason that I actually completely went on my way out is they changed doctrine and went more of a mainstream. Really, they went mainstream. Like, because we didn't celebrate Christmas, we didn't celebrate any of the pagan holidays. We did all the Jewish holidays. We didn't eat pork. Didn't eat.
So what was the
shellfish.
straw for you? What was the straw for you? You was like where you broke free. When was that moment? Did they do something, or did something click in your head? Did you meet somebody and was like, "What the fuck are you doing in there?" What was it for you that you were like, "I'm out"?
Because it sounds like they lightened up and you didn't like it.
No. The lighten up was like, oh shit, all right, I'm at it. Great. I'm like, so that was all bullshit. All right. I no longer had this thing. Well, what if they're right? But I was already starting to look. I started seeing things on like the History Channel and about how a lot of these gods were in Egypt before they were in Christianity. And so I was like, whoa. And like a lot of the stories were recycled. So I'd already had the seed planted, like, wait up. And then I was looking into evolution and all these things. So I was kind of because I didn't immediately, after I got out, I didn't immediately say, oh, now I'm atheist. It was a process, because that was hard to let go of too. To say that I don't believe in any God. I don't believe there is any of those things out there. That was it took me early 30s before I could actually feel that, like, say, you know what, I'm good with it, because you're programmed your whole life to think a certain way, and it's kind of hard to let go of. I'm this special. Somebody's looking down and looking out for me, and one day I'm gonna die, but one day everything's gonna be great. I'm gonna have superpowers. It's hard to give that up when you're brought up and stuff like that. But it was, so it was a little bit of that. And then when they changed doctrine, when they said, yeah, we were wrong and you can celebrate all these holidays and you can do this. And then I was like, whew, it was almost a relief in one point, because I was like, all right. I don't have that to worry about anymore.
Right.
But yeah, it's.
Because I know, as an atheist, I was like, I don't celebrate none of that shit. And let me tell you, there is a freedom. Like, I don't do Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day, Christmas. I may do Halloween because that's fun. It's some kid shit.
Right.
But I don't celebrate any people. I bet you celebrate Valentine's Day. No, the fuck I don't. None of
but
it.
But Jen, what's interesting about that is that you grew up where you could do that if you wanted to, and you didn't feel. I grew up where everybody else was doing things like that, and if I snuck out and got candy, I felt guilty about it. It was crazy growing up in that world. Like Mardi Gras, I would go to parades, and that's like a bunch of pagan gods and things like that. Everything was looked down upon that everybody else was participating in. That's why, for me, when I say, and I've told Erica, I was like, listen, she didn't grow up with Thanksgiving. I'm like, listen, I know there's a lot of dark shit with every holiday, right? But I'm like, Thanksgiving is the one thing I had when I was growing up where it wasn't looked down upon by the church I went to. And I would go to my grandparents' house and we'd have a big meal and watch football. That's the only reason Thanksgiving means anything to me, because it was the one thing as a child that I wasn't guilty of doing something, it was really, yeah.
So a couple of things you said reminded me of, as you were talking, reminded me of the same environment that these YouTube coaches create, which is the the reward, right? If they hang on to these guys, they get rewarded for knowing more. They get enlightened. It's like, now I know the nature of women. I know the nature I didn't know before. And the camaraderie, and also some important, that it is cultish, because now if you notice, they like spreading the word. No different than Jehovah's Witnesses. They like telling other men and bringing other men into this. Have you watched Kevin Samuels? Have you watched this? And they start, what do they do on Facebook? How do we all learn of Kevin Samuels? They start spreading it and sharing the good news. Just like when Jehovah's Witnesses knock on your door. Have you heard the good news? What fucking, I'm getting money? What good news you bring to my door? So if you notice,
I
and
was
then
about
they
to
want,
see Ed McMahon.
Right. It's like they want to spread that good news to enlighten other people because there's power in enlightening other people to the truth of the matter. So I'm like, how are these not cults? It is the exact same environment.
And you're right. And you saw I'm glad you said you saw that Netflix special as well, but you see where they protect the cult leader, right? And we
Yep.
did the same thing. We had a apostle, right?
Hmm.
And we protected him, I mean, we would go to war, over if people would say something bad about him. I mean, you protect that cult leader. You're
Same
right.
thing.
It is. There's a lot of similarities.
I mean, look here. I mean, quickly look. All hail Kevin Samuels. That's
right.
there. It is.
And
I
you
mean,
feel
because
like you said, you feel special, you feel enlightened, you feel like you have knowledge that those people don't. You don't understand. You need to come over here and check out. I got some knowledge you don't have. You feel like you have more knowledge than everybody else.
I mean, you
Go ahead,
notice
Lily.
if we like put on the thumbnail one of those guys from the Manosphere Red Pill, like their minions are going to come crowding in, taking up for
Yeah.
them, right? But what's so funny that they don't understand? They don't ever think about this. Those people are not going to do the same thing for them when they're in need of anything in life, anything.
Yeah, and
Those
that's what
people,
they don't care.
they don't care. It's so weird. Like I even know somebody who just like it's always taken up for celebrities, right? That they like. I mean, they take up for you would think this was a family member, and I'm like, I mean, yes, I got people that I like a lot, but if somebody says something about them, I'm like, okay, what they got to do with
No
me or
Saint,
them? Like that's like
no Saint. Did you see in How to Be a Cult Leader when the Indian guy broke out when the heat was coming? The Indian guy.
The talking about the one that had
Yes.
that guy. Yeah.
Yes.
You're talking
Yo,
about
and that
the wild cut that whole documentary where he took off.
right. So what
Yeah.
Lily was saying was they wouldn't do that. Like you come caping for these clowns, and they wouldn't do that for you. When the heat got hot on that dude, he broke the fuck out, left them all
Trump
there,
did too. Trump did
left them.
too.
Yeah.
They're all like,
Remember,
"Where
Trump
is
did the same
he? Where
thing.
is he?"
And that's why people don't understand when you say that when I've said like when people say that it's a cult, Trump not everybody who voted for Trump is in the cult, but there are a lot of people that are in the cult. And it's the
Right.
same thing.
You about the summons George Cook.
Yeah, and he's gonna vote for him. I really want to get in that with him. He's gonna vote for him again.
We have to do. Let's do. We got to do a Trump. Let's do a Trump stream.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be really good.
Charles Coleman, Kevin Samuels equals worm food. Unfortunately, yes.
But that documentary.
Huh?
I just want to say one thing real quick. Just
Uh-oh.
wanted to address Vegatron. He asked me a bit about my past. Yes,
he's
I've done a lot
he's
of.
spicy in the chat tonight.
He's-
Megatron is
he's real spicy in the
spicy.
He is.
So,
He coming for everybody, Lily.
Megatron, I'm not going to go back and forth and discuss with you a binary search tree. Okay, you want to talk about big O notation afterward? I mean, I'm a software engineer, 20 years. Way back in 2004, I started my music. You know what I mean? Teaching myself piano when I was 6. Got involved in the music industry when I was 12. I taught myself how to play the guitar when I was in my 20s, and I taught myself how to play the bass when I was about maybe 5 years after that. I learned classical, pop, blues, rock, metal, pretty much anything under the sun. Now, you see, I wouldn't have to tell you these things if you guys would just stop by my YouTube page and maybe just listen to my music. You know what I mean? I've written hundreds of songs. I've done a lot of stuff. Yes, I have, because I don't think about time. I think about interest. Now, it's not about me, me behaving as if I'm, big and bad and so on and so forth. Maybe you have some sort of thing about me being a confident person. That's on you. No, you guys forget when I told you about that I was a fucking alcoholic since I was 12. You missed that part though. You know what I mean? When I told you that I was dealing with alcoholism, when I was dealing with homelessness, when I was doing all these things, you tend to miss that part.
Stay humble.
You only miss have a degree of fucking pride. But anyway, go ahead. Because oh yeah, I forgot. Because as a black man, I'm supposed to be
Stay
docile,
humble.
make myself small, be. You know what I mean? Dim my light. But you see, if I was a white man beating my chest every 5 minutes, like the gentleman who's currently being indicted for everything under the sun, well, you'd call that person an alpha, an actual man. But anyway, you guys, continue.
All right, so we're gonna
Stay
close
humble.
on that note. And Haran, if you want to find his page, go to my community tab. He's actually the last post there, I believe, or I think it was Lily. Lily was also doing makeup today. If you go to my community tab, the link to their
No, I
channels are
said
there.
I
Please
was an
subscribe.
alcoholic. I was. You see, you guys don't listen. You don't fucking listen. Anyway, yes, you can
Well,
actually take
Vegatron's been spicy in the chat all night. Sis has been going through it, Lily. Sis is going
Child,
through it in the chat
I just thought she was
tonight.
on her. I just thought she was on her period. I don't mess with people when they're on their period. I said,
Yes.
child, I get it. Or she didn't take her hormones this morning. I don't know what it was, but I said, you know what? It ain't none of my business. I'm a mind my black owned business today.
Okay. All right. So with that said, Kari, thank you for coming up with. You always have these wonderful shirts. What's going on over there? I just picture his closet.
He does.
Yeah,
Kari gonna
yeah.
have a shirt. Kari gonna have a shirt for you. He all
I
Barbied
tell you,
out tonight.
I was doing my own show for a while, for a couple times a week, and I just said, you know what, I'm gonna try to never wear the same thing twice. So I just buy something
That's
new
dope.
every week.
I try to do that shit too. You
You
ain't
know.
never lied. I be trying to do that shit. I be like, oh, return this shit. That shit. Yeah. It's hard, man. It's hard. Every fucking night you gotta come with something new. I'm like, let me put my hair up,
Right.
glasses, no glasses. You know,
I need to find a sponsor one day.
seriously. From your lips to the universe ears. With that said, guys, good night. Thank you for holding me down, chat. Thank you for the super chats. Hit like and subscribe. Please follow my people. Fall back for a minute. I want to talk to you for a second. All right, guys. Love you all. Good night. Be good. And if you can't be good, be careful. Thank you for contributing. Tonight was really, really fucking awesome. Salute to the gentleman. That was dope. All right, guys. Good night. Don't forget, support the show. Buy me a smoothie cash app on the block with Jen. And we're out. Good night, Kari.
Good night, y'all. Be good. Y'all
Good
be
night.
good.
You too. All right. Un momento.